What you waiting for? It's time. Time for love. It's time. Time for the sun and sand. It's time. Time for fun. It's time. It's time. It's time to let your hair down. Come on. Come on. Come on. To have no fear. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. It's time. What you waiting for? It's time. 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 What you waiting for?
It is that time again, ladies and gentlemen. Sunday, fun day. Welcome to another edition of the Merv Britto Show. My name is Merv Britto, and I welcome you. I thank you for joining us. I am so excited today. I'm looking at him, and it's like waking up on Christmas Day, and you're so excited to unwrap a present. We've spoken about this all week. We've promoted this all week, and we have the one and only the Advocate Shashank Narvekar on the show today, sitting on the couch, and I'm not going to put the camera on him right now. We're going to introduce him properly in a few minutes. But as we always do on the show, we always like to give thanks and say hello to everybody that makes this happen, that puts this together and helps me do what I do and make me hopefully look. I need makeup, Joanne. I'm just looking at my face.
I told you this before, but you said you're not interested.
My sister says you need makeup, and I said, no, what? I'm all natural. There's nothing to hide. This is what you see is what you get. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the team from the Merv Britto Show, starting with Mr. Ajoy Barreto, who's been missing in action. He's been in Bombay. Mr. Barreto, welcome back to Goa.
Kai zala. How's everybody?
Marathi mano zala. How you doing, dude?
I'm good. Good to be back, and we're excited for this one, Mo.
Absolutely, we all are. Ladies and gentlemen, the wordsmith, the hardest working in Goa, one of my favorite wives, the one and only Mrs. Joanne Britto.
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear I'm your favorite.
How many do you have?
Only one, Baba. The best. The wordsmith. She's the hardest working woman in Goa. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Wilbert Cardozo.
Hello guys, hope you had a good weekend.
It's not done yet. We've still got Sunday to finish. There's so many faces. We've got somebody who's been very involved in the recordings and the promos for the week today. This gentleman has joined us recently. He's going to be working this show. So if there's any screw-ups, you can blame him. Mr. Kirsten Ribeiro Sa. How are you, brother?
Good.
No, Mike. We've got a couple of other faces. You've seen them before. Yusuf's not in the studio today, but we've got Mr. Neil Ribeiro. How are you, Mr. Ribeiro?
Neil
Rodriguez. Sorry. Brain not functioning.
I would say
fart.
Rodriguez, but he's
Rodriguez. How are you, Neil? We've got a couple of other gentlemen in the studio today. They don't have mics, but I'm going to say welcome to you both. Emmerich and Sagar. How are you guys? Thank you for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, we're so excited. We've been waiting for this all week. I've been excited for this all week because we do this show because we are very, very, very passionate about this place that we live in. And it's not something that we take for granted, but it is nice to be able to do something to give back and make people aware of what's going on in this place. We've seen we've seen Goa in a different time and a place, a different generation, and it's something that we're passionate about. We live here. We met or haven't met. I've coincidentally met this gentleman once before, and I had no idea who he was. And he's on the show today. I'm going to jump right in. I'm not going to waste any more time.
He called in a few weeks back too.
No, you never called him, did he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. You had a chat with him. Do you not remember?
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my proud privilege to present to you the one and only Advocate Shashank Narvekar. Hola. Shashank, it's such a pleasure. I've been so excited to have not only introduce you, but to have you on the show. And I'm so proud of the fact that you've actually made it today. It has been a very, very strange situation for you, this thing of events. This gentleman was kind enough to show up on the show after an accident. Tell me what happened to you, my friend.
You've already built up enough hype around this. Now I'm worried that it may not live up to it. But So while traveling here on the slope down Dattavadi in Mapusa, my bike slipped on the cables, the internet cables. I know it's a hot topic right now.
It's a very hot topic
right now. And I thankfully was limber enough with my weight to jump off the bike in time.
Wow.
But bike is slightly damaged, and thankfully I'm not with the elections coming up soon.
I was just going to say, more important, you can replace any bike, but you can't replace, there's only one Shashank Narvekar. And he made it to the show in time. He was supposed to be here earlier, but we were really worried about it. We called him and he's absolutely fine. He's got a couple bruises and scars, but as he said, he was nimble enough to jump off the bike. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Merv Britto Show. We do the show every week. You can tune in anywhere in the world. There is no editing. This is a live broadcast show. We have been lucky enough to get Shashank on the show. He is a listener who contacted us through mutual people, and it's very interesting to me to have somebody like this, somebody with this experience who's been around, who's so established, to be on the show as a listener, but also somebody who's willing. And I said that to him, we're not going to take it easy on you. You're going to have the hard questions. And he was kind enough to agree. And he said, yeah, absolutely, I'll be there. So he's on the show. We do the show live. And you already know, those of you who've tuned in before know that we do this live without any editing. If anybody out there would like to contact us and ask questions, leave us a comment. You can get in touch with us on our social media pages. Anywhere you get your social media, we're at the Merv Britto Show on X, Facebook, anywhere you get your social media, get in touch with us. If you like what we do and you want to leave us any kind words or a comment, like, share, subscribe, leave us a message. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to get in touch with us live, there is a number that I'm going to put that's on the screen already, 750-724-6246. You can ask Shashank the question. You can leave us a comment. You can have us ask him a question. You can get on a video. This is a show that I wanted to do for a long time. We've had a lot of guests that we've enjoyed, but this is one show with all the stuff happening in Goa and the elections coming up that I've been looking forward to. Shashank, once again, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you.
You've already seen the show before. You know the format of the show.
You remember our first meeting though, right?
I told these guys, it was funny because I met Shashank in Mapusa once ago. We had a little bit of a juggedy because our guys were tying the internet cables. We run a company called Infinite that provide internet cables, internet connections to customers. We were tying our cables, and he came out.
I'm wondering whether you planted that cable today while I was on the way.
I was just going to ask the same question. Correct.
It wouldn't be right if I did, because you wouldn't have made the show. There are a couple of very hot topics, and I'm so proud of the fact that you said, you know what, I don't care. You can ask me anything. In this day and age where you have a lot of politicians and a lot of political topics that are just flung around and promises made, it's nice to have somebody from a different generation who's willing to come on our show, being as informal. It's not planned. We haven't given you a list of questions, but you're willing to ask, or we're willing to ask you the questions, and you're willing to answer the tough questions.
Yeah.
And that speaks volumes. So,
you know what, Merv? Actually, when your intention of doing whatever you want to do is right, I don't think you need to worry about the questions.
This is true.
Joanne, but there's a lot of people that would think differently. Oh my God, I don't want to be on the show because you're going to ask me something and I'm going to look bad, or I'm going to be embarrassed. You've been on hundreds of interviews. You're all over social media.
Yeah.
It's a breeze. It's a cakewalk.
So the thing is, I've always thought people vote for me. They voted for my family. They've supported us for such a long time. I don't think I have to be shy of answering questions that people ask. So why not?
Absolutely.
So I was going to say, because your family's been in politics locally in Mapusa for 40 years, correct?
Yes, my dad got elected somewhere around 87.
Wow.
In 87 first. So it's about 40 years, yeah.
Yeah.
My wife, my mother and my dad all, and then me of late have been elected.
But you said dad, wife in politics, yeah?
Yes.
You've been an advocate. Before I jump into it.
And his mum.
Yeah. Before I jump into it, I want to ask, you've got a beautiful family. I want a little bit of background from Shashank. He's Advocate Shashank Narvekar. And on this show, I'm going to call him Shashank. No disrespect, but I want to know, you got a beautiful picture of his family there.
That's actually my uncle and my aunt. So
Is that uncle and aunt?
Yes.
And wife?
That's my wife, yeah.
Gotcha. Shashank, a little bit of background, Baba. You are a Mapusa boy, born and raised?
Yes.
School, talk about your background, your history.
So I actually am born in Chodankar Hospital in Pororim, which is my grand uncle. So that's my dad's mom's brother. And well, the hospital is still there. My son was born there. Second son also is born there. So our whole family has been, brought up and born in Mapusa and close to Mapusa. I've studied in St. Britto's, the entire, I think from KG to 10th. Then I did my 11th and 12th in commerce. And then I studied law at VM Salgaonkar College of Law. Post that, I did my master's in business law in National Law School.
I read your bio. I've read a lot of questions, a lot of things about you, a lot of history. You are a self-driven person, a person that likes to ask a lot of questions. Becoming an advocate is hard enough as it is. But why from advocate now? You're an established advocate, 20 years?
Yes, I'll complete 20 years this July. Yeah.
Other than advocate, which is a job in its own, you've also been a ward member. You've been a very, very concerned, involved ward member. No, that's a good thing. You've been a ward member in Mapusa, right?
Yes, 5 years now.
What does a ward member in Mapusa do?
So the designation officially is a councillor. A councillor is the representative, like how you have a punch in the panchayat areas. For each panchayat, we have 20 councillors in Mapusa. So the 20 wards in Mapusa representing each area. Each area is, I think, the average living population is somewhere between 1,800 to 2,000 people.
In each ward or
in each ward?
In each ward.
Yeah. So our total population is around 40,000 in Mapusa. But voting population should be around 32 now. Yeah.
Ward member of which ward?
So Dhuler, it's ward number 5.
Gotcha.
It's opposite the Dhuler football ground, right up till Xavier's College.
Gotcha. It's very interesting because we know so little about politics. I've studied overseas, but even our local kids here know so little about politics and how the political system works. Before we go any further, I'm going to say that this show is not politically inclined in any direction. We are apolitical. We are not any kind of bias. I don't care what
partisan in any way.
They're not partisan, but here again, it's an open flat platform for anybody to state their views. So the whole idea with having Shashank, I don't care about his political background affiliation. He's an interesting guy, and we've always said this in Goa. If you want to do something, get off your butt and do it. Stop making the excuses and pointing and blaming and complaining about it. He's a young gentleman who's willing to go out on a limb and put his ass in gear and do what he's doing, and he's doing a great job, and he's moved forward. So before we go any further, there are going to be views and opinions expressed on the show by me and a couple of the people on the mic and Shashank, but they in no way are biased by any kind of political affiliation. We're not being paid. We don't, that's not how we work. He's an interesting gentleman that I said, absolutely, I would love to have him on the show. He's here today. So if you've got questions and comments, and here again, it can be any point of view, we'd love to hear from you, but the show's the views and opinions being expressed are being expressed by those people and not the views of the Merv Britto Show overall. And that's a disclaimer that we have to put out there. Shashank, the ward member, an advocate. I've got so many questions to ask you. You've talked about being a Mapusa boy, school, college, everything. You've always been locally. How is that more people don't like to get? You want to get into politics. Why don't we have more young people not wanting to get into politics?
So, Merv, the time that we grew up, I'm saying we because it's, I think we're in the middle of a sort of generation now, which is the new voting population, somewhere younger populations between the age of 18 to 30 in the last 10 years has seen terrible examples of what kind of politicians they should emulate. When I grew up, I think they were great politicians to look at. We had a fantastic state legislature where there were well-educated, decent people who were educated, who were elected, people who used decent parliamentary language while addressing each other and the general public. At the national level also, great prime ministers, great national level leaders, great chief ministers of different states who we could look at. I think that's lacking now. So it's not something that I think as parents, now I have 2 boys myself, as parents, I would not, encourage them to go into a path where you see people flinging chairs and in places like which is supposed to be a temple of democracy, as they call it. So I find that absurd. Like, why would anyone who is now a new voter or a young person who is eligible even to get elected get into politics when that is the kind of examples they see in front of them? So then whose job is it to change that? So why not me? So that's the reason why I thought I should do this. But I have always wanted to do this. This is not something that I've come across now. This is something that I wanted to do after I finished school, because I saw such good people representing us.
So it's like a vocation then.
Yes.
Joanne, it's. I'm so glad he met. You know what? That makes such a huge difference. And these are the kind of things you want to hear. It's not just. You mentioned respect. You mentioned great people. You mentioned people that have conducted themselves with like proper people, role models, right?
Yes.
By the way, I'm going to ask you, who's your favorite politician, Indian politician, and who would you like to emulate? Yeah, I'm throwing it out there. Mine is Manohar Parrikar. I was a huge fan of Manohar Parrikar, but there've been a lot of people before him. Who's yours?
I think currently, I don't know.
Not currently. Don't give me currently.
Yeah.
Historically,
I don't think so.
What made you?
Historically, I think Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
There you go. Okay.
The way of conducting oneself in public, the way that Sushma Swaraj was a great orator.
Yeah.
Manmohan Singh, of course, for the kind of education that he had.
But these people could hold their own on a political international stage.
Yes.
They could meet any world leader. They could communicate. Orator is one thing, but knowledge and the way you conduct yourself to make you proud as an Indian, that's your leader, right?
Yes.
You've got a lot.
I think also the kind of leader that leads the country reflects the mood and the kind of citizens it wants to sort of put out in the world.
Yeah.
So every generation puts out that the kind of leader that eventually the generation is going to go, the sort of generation that is going to be sort of, you can say, curated into.
Yeah.
So the more sort of educated, the more strong, sensible leadership you see, I think the younger generation would also want to be that way.
Yeah.
When they see that. So
leaders to this, well, in this day and age, I believe, that's my personal opinion, but leaders unite. Leaders bring, I don't care what party of political affiliation, leaders unite. They're there for all the people.
Absolutely right.
And the reason I was leading into this is because you've got some really, really great role models in our Indian history that make you proud as Indians. It is a shame that the political situation is in the quagmire where we are today. It's a mess. And when I speak to people, and the reason we do the show, because we love the show, and there's so much going on, good and bad, but there's so much more bad. And you've got a generation of young people that have absolutely no want, need, desire to get into politics. They don't even want to vote. Yeah. You've got an older generation that's been there, done that, and they've made the promises and promised the moon and delivered nothing. Yeah. It is nice to have a younger generation of person like yourself get into politics. You've got great ideas and what you're talking about, how politics should be conducted. The whole idea with having the show is having a young person, a role model where people listening, young people can listen and say, you know what, that's the kind of guy I want to vote for. Getting into social media, the younger crew, the younger generation is how you're going to win elections.
Yes.
Social media, that's how Barack Obama did it. Many, many politicians have finally twigged on, I need to get out there, get on the Joe Rogan show, get on these different shows, get my word out. I'm a different generation from the people that your mom and dad voted for. Yeah. I'm not the kind of guy who's going to sit around and just keep going through the same spinning wheel of politics that these people...
You know that more than 50% of our population is now below the age of 40.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then that is the major demographic. But you should also know that most of the people below 40 treat the day of voting as a holiday.
Yeah, they don't want to do it though, no?
Yeah.
So that is your civil right. That's your right. You can't complain if you can't complain about it if you didn't go and vote.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, in Australia...
I say this to a lot of people, and it's a joke among some of my friends as well. Some of them who have now shifted abroad and they come here and complain. And of course, they have the right to say things about the country that they've grown up in. And I often say to them, but now you don't live here. You don't contribute to the GDP of the country.
Why are you whining? Why are you complaining?
Yeah, you come here for 10 days. You can't. If you want to change that situation, you should stay here and contribute to whatever is going on here. So,
I was just going to say, in Australia, it's obligatory to vote. It's illegal if you don't vote.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Have to vote. Yeah.
It is your moral civil obligation as somebody who lives in because there's a lot of countries that you don't have a choice. You don't get a chance to vote.
Yeah.
You've got a chance. India is the biggest, the largest democracy in the world, and it's a shame when people don't vote. You talked
not only
about
that, there's been a lot of struggle to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a long struggle to get to a place where each and every person in the country has the right to vote. So then to treat it just as, a discount coupon that comes at the end of a newspaper is not
Should
right.
be.
Yeah.
Holiday.
Not right.
I grew up in the States, and we absolutely salute and really worship the people that protect your country and afford you this right. And it's sad because it doesn't happen more over here. You've got men and women, brave men and women that have risked their lives and continue to risk their lives to give you this freedom. And the least you can do is vote. Shashank, why do more established, senior, elderly, very qualified people not get into politics?
I think sometimes they don't have the solutions for the problems that the younger people are actually having. I think there's a disconnect between it's also, I think it's because of the sort of technological evolution. I think 80s and 90s kids went through a very fast transition of technology and ended up adapting to it very quickly also. We went from like the dial phone
Yeah, dude. In a couple
our
decades.
phone to our now current smartphone and like gesture devices and stuff like that. I'm pretty terrible with new, like my sister calls me technologically challenged.
Challenged?
Yeah.
But the point I was going to make, I was trying to, and this thing, what I was targeting was a lot of older people think that it's a dirty word. When you get into politics, you get painted with the same brush that all these people that have been in politics, even though you're good and you've got the greatest intentions, it's sad because you get pulled down and you get put in that same basket of people that have done all the crookery in the past. So the good people don't want to get into politics. You made a good point about social media and technology and how quickly technology is advanced.
Yeah.
Boss, don't sell yourself short. The fact is that you are on social media, you're active, and you're actually doing stuff rather than a lot of people that just talk about it and they won't do it.
Yeah. It took me a while to get there though, because initially, like my thought process about sort of as an example during COVID, helping people with food is something that I did not consciously want to advertise about. Put out on social media, because if there's somebody who can't provide for themselves and then you're saying that you're doing this, you're not only promoting yourself but you're also saying that person can't do it for himself. So it's kind of a little bit of shaming to that person, which I didn't want to do. But then now, there's a competition with how many bags have been distributed.
Wow.
And it's ridiculous sometimes. So that's why I say like that's not a path that I want to take. But also because of this social media campaigns around everybody's the sort of attention grabbing campaigns that everyone does, sometimes I'm forced to do it.
It's got so much more of an impact when you do something that nobody knows.
Yeah.
And it makes such a huge difference when you're doing for the goodness of your heart rather than do it to be on social media. Everybody wants to do on social media. I want the likes, shares, so I want the followers and all that BS.
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword because a lot of times, Shashank, in your industry, as somebody who's striving to be a future politician, you need to have that following. And it's lovely that you're a different generation. I mentioned the older generation of politicians that didn't want to get into it because they were going to sully their names. I admire young people, you kind of guys that are willing to put your name out there. Listen, I've got a lot of questions that I want to ask you specifically about Mapusa, about politicians, about the political systems, because when we do the show, we have a lot of people that are so disheartened, they're just turned off, Joanne. They don't even care because you know what? It's never going to change. They paid me $5,000. He paid me $10,000. I voted for them, and it's a mess, and it's never going to change.
Yeah.
So I need to ask Shashank this question as a politician to let people know his views, how he thinks about the system. Yeah.
Yeah. There was one thing I wanted to ask you, Shashank, because it interested me, because at the same age, I started working also. You said you started working at the age of 15. Because
No, I said I was really interested in getting into politics from the age of 15.
Yeah.
I started working in other fields. I mean,
Yes.
just as a matter of experience, just to
Of
get to know.
course.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I started working in the local corner shop where I lived, you know, from the age of 15, just to try and earn a little bit of money. You know, I was from a single parent family.
Yeah.
So basically it was just to earn a little bit of pocket money and things like that. And I feel that from what you've said, from your background, that you're the kind of person, you don't expect things to just land in your lap.
Right.
You actually want to go out there and a bit of a go-getter. And that's a good motivation in life.
Yes.
And the thing is, making sure that you're wanting to do things for people for the right reasons.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
So the thing is, even though my dad was the mayor, earlier known as the mayor, but now is chairperson of Mapusa.
Okay.
I remember, I had a very strict upbringing from him. And I also believe that kind of molds you and makes you what you are, right? So even though he was strict, when he was a chairperson or the mayor of Mapusa, he never actually, he used to pass by my school while coming back home.
Yeah.
But he never picked me up on the way. I would still walk back home.
What?
Yeah, I never sat in the official car.
Good for him.
I never sat in the official car on the way back. He would wave out at me and just keep going.
What?
So, I mean, at that point in time, I thought it was, I used to feel really terrible about it. But then eventually you understand the value of that.
Yeah.
And so because of that kind of upbringing also, there was no, conceptually amongst middle class, lower middle class Goan families, the concept of pocket money doesn't exist.
Get out there and work for it.
So as soon as I got out of school and I was in the 11th, 12th standard and took up banking as a subject, I think it was ICICI Bank or something that had opened up a new branch, and I just took up a part-time job there. It's mainly to enjoy myself with my friends and go out and stuff like that. But that's the intention, to make money or whatever. And then eventually I learned so much about that industry. Then I went on to different kinds of jobs. But that always helps.
I love the fact. I love that story about your dad making you walk, and you know what? Your father and mother will be very proud of the gentleman, the person you have become. It's these little things that they've taught you along the way, not to abuse the system. You got to walk home, boy, like everybody else, and blah blah blah. These are the things that they instill you. This is your background, your morals, your values that have made you the man you are today, and that speaks volumes.
And now my kids go by bus. Yeah, by bus. I don't drop them.
But you're teaching them from a young age. It's not going to be, it's not easy, guys. You can't have it all. You have to learn what everybody
They
goes
need
through.
to value. See, I already think that they have, you get this sort of guilt conscience over time where you feel like you have too much or you have more than you actually deserve when you see other people who don't have things. I think I had that for a while also. And I don't want them to have that, because sometimes you then overcompensate by doing more for other people and then keeping yourself back also. I don't want them to have that, but value they should have for everything that they get.
Definitely.
I thank the Lord. I thank God every day for my parents, and I hated it growing up, but I thank God my parents were strict.
Everyone must
hated it, right?
Yeah.
I thank God for them being so. We didn't have a lot, and it was more important for my mom and dad at that time to invest everything you can, as much as you can afford, on the education. Which they were strict, boy. Mom and dad wouldn't think twice about a good beating when you did something wrong, and that's the best thing they did for us as kids. Your family name, Narvekar, has been in politics for a very long time, and now you're going to carry that forward. What specifically, as far as we have panchayats, we have all these different political system structures in the villages. In Mapusa, what position are you actually running for?
So at the moment, I am already a councillor. The elections that are coming up now will be again for the municipal council. So I have completed my term of 5 years now.
Mandatory?
Yeah, it's a mandatory 5-year term.
No. I'm saying, so you said the term to be a councillor?
Yeah, the
for
term,
all 20?
Yeah. all 20 is 5 years. It's not like Panjim. Panjim, I think it's 2.5 years and then
True,
they
yeah.
have, a selection. That's a different process. So you have like how does the MLA's term for 5 years? It's the same. The same people remain elected for that whole 5-year term. So the previous term, my wife was elected. We have a rotationary reservation system, which is with a 33% reservation for women, 33% reservation for OBC, SC and ST. And then an overlapping reservation which should not cross over 50%, which means 50% of the 20 seats are reserved with all these categories. And then the remaining 50 are for general category, which is the open category where anyone can contest.
And you're contesting to be the councillor one more time
Yes.
for the same area, right?
Ideally, maybe now a new area also is something I'm looking at.
Our political system, I'm going to get into a more detailed question, but our political system here in India, forget about Goa, is so complicated. It's very complicated. From your panchayats to your MLAs to your county, like you're talking about in Mapusa, Panjim is different, blah, blah, blah. It is very complicated. People don't understand it. Let's get into simple things and questions that I want to ask you about. It drives me mad, and I talk about this all the time about corruption, about people who will do and sell their souls for money, yeah? So you've got these people nowadays, everybody and their uncle just giving up and saying, I couldn't care less because it's not going to change. You've got so much corruption. It may be very well hidden, but you've got so much corruption in that has turned such a beautiful place, Shashank, into a cesspit, into a cesspool. You've got development that's happening everywhere. Goa is an absolute, we call it a diamond in the rough. It is the goose that laid the golden egg. People came to Goa because they loved Goa for the way it used to be.
True.
And I genuinely, and I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for saying this, I blame the politicians and the people in power for making it as the place it is today.
Yeah.
And it drives me up a pole, and I can't do much about it, but this is my contribution. This is our contribution to have this show to be able to talk about these things. Why is so the political system anyway is complicated? Why is it so blatant that people can get away with promising you the moon to get elected, and once elected they don't fulfill those promises and they keep paying money? It's almost like a science where you can pay X amount of money to get elected, and I can make 5X of that once I'm in power, but the system doesn't change, and we need young people like you to get in there and change the system. Why is that allowed to? Is it nepotism? Is it just what? Is it just? It's people filling their pockets and destroying this beautiful place that you and I are so passionate about. Why is it still happening?
I think it's a two-way street. Okay. It's not only the politicians; it's also the people who are voting for them over and over. You have to understand that you can't be selling 5 years of your life into all these things that are, all these things that the politicians are making money out of. You're basically selling your 5 years of whatever you're expecting from them for that money that you receive before the election. So a person who's giving you $5,000 is basically buying 5 years of your life for doing whatever he wants. I'm not saying take it or don't take it, but at least take a right decision if that person has already been there for 5 years and you see that he's not done anything.
Absolutely.
The next time the choice is yours, right? The first time you may not know. Second time, like, why the third time? Why the fourth time? Why do you continue to vote for that person?
And then over time, it becomes like a callus. You know what? It's never going to change. I'm going to take that 5,000, 10,000. I'll take a bike. I'll take a fridge. I'll take whatever it is they bribe and get into power. And they've proven over time so many terms that they've served that they're not in politics like our good old people, the old politicians that were genuinely in politics to do good for the people. They wanted to give back. You as politicians are political servants. You're there to serve your constituents. You're the people that voted for you. But it would be embarrassing for me as a politician not to fulfill my obligations and my promises that I've made to get elected, right?
Yeah.
And it happens over and over again. You have people switching parties, they're doing all kinds of stuff, and the system is so complicated as it is. The lay people like you.
I don't think it's complicated. When your representative comes to your door to ask for a vote, Ask him what he's done. It's not that complicated.
No. But you've only got two parties currently. You got three parties, right? The BJP, the Congress, Ahmad, whatever. People don't know a hell of a lot more than that. People aren't, listen,
All they need to do is look outside. They don't need to find out about they don't need to understand the whole, political culture or what happens there. Look outside your house. That's all. And ask that question. Everyone from every lane asks the question about their own house. They know the answer what is going on.
Baba, you talk about the affiliation with Congress or BJP and stuff like that. They've done this, they've done. You look outside and it's a mess.
Yeah.
Shashank, where do I start? If you were going to give somebody advice, and it's what you said is very simple, very straightforward. And I don't mean this in the wrong way, but there's a lot of people that are not as educated. Yes.
Right.
If you say, look out the door and see the system, how it is, and then you decide, mate, it's a mess. Where do I start? Should I vote Congress?
I don't think the people who were out at Chimmel were all educated.
You're talking about the Unity Mall?
Yeah.
But they don't stand a chance. We've talked about the Unity Mall and what a travesty, what a effing mess it's going to be.
Yeah.
You're taking a really body of water and a pristine place to put another mall.
Yeah.
You've got a hell of a lot of people that are coming protesting. You've got the government putting jammers out there because they don't want this to go out.
I was shocked looking at that.
Can you believe this? You're in India. You're in
It was ridiculous to see that. And then the explanation by that lady officer was there.
But that's the point I'm trying to make, right? So to the Joe Schmo out there that looks out their window and sees the potholes, the fault, the infrastructure. Now, I'm going to get to Mapusa in a second, but you see all this happening, and where can my one small, minute vote make a difference? Look outside. It's not going to change. If I have to vote, I'm going to vote.
It does. Everybody, it's a wheel that keeps turning. You have to understand that.
Yeah.
You have to keep making that change. It's especially in a country like ours, there's no sort of full stop to whatever's going on. Whether it's the bad things and the good things, they're going to keep on going. Which part of it you keep and you push, which side of it is actually a choice that every individual needs to make. You can be part of one side which only is thinking about how you can make money. And then there's another part which you can actually think about how you can improve the system. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, in terms of how does it work in terms of the taxes that people pay in order to have public works projects going on or to enhance their environment, that kind of stuff? Because I think from your level as a council ward member, I don't think people really understand exactly how it works from like the different layers and the different areas of responsibility and how it works.
So from what I have understood, there are three basic ways of sort of getting revenue for infrastructure development done within towns or villages. The first is the direct taxes that the authority earns, which is basically like rent from premises and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
The second is the funding that we get from the state government, which are basically grants, which are announced by, for example, the finance budget.
Do you have to apply for those grants, or they're automatically given? No. Okay. And the third is then the central government budgets, schemes which are announced by the central government, which have to percolate down to the level of local panchayat or municipal bodies. Okay.
So these three basic are the revenue sources that we get. We have control as a local municipal body to only control how we generate the first source. The other two sources are dependent on the state and then the central government, the taxes, whatever they levy. But all taxes are paid by everybody.
Everybody.
It's just that they are sourced through to come back to us through these three ways.
And how that money is used, is that publicly available? So if people want to go online,
it has to be. So these works have to be executed through representatives like me.
Okay.
So we are the first step that we have to propose that particular work. And after we propose that work, based on the amount that is going to be required for the expenditure of that particular infrastructure development, it goes to that particular fund that we are supposed to get the money from.
Okay.
I'm glad you've talked about money. It is, and this is going to lead to so many more questions from me. I've got a load of questions. Shashank, I'm going to do a rapid fire round. I'm going to ask you some questions. I don't expect you to get into detail, but I just want to get your opinion, your take on this. Joanne asked a brilliant question about where, or the funding. How do you get funding? I want to talk about things like the potholes. And I'm sure you've heard it 100 times. The potholes, something that really bothers me is the filth in the Mapusa market. I went and videotaped. I went and videoed some stuff in the market. But the potholes, the market, just your local infrastructure, street lights, the infrastructure, the money's there. The money's being collected. We as taxpayers pay money that goes to your local government, your state government, your central government. There's budgets. You either use it or lose it. Why, after paying so much money, you spoke about money, why after paying so much money are you not genuine? I'm not saying, I'm not pointing any fingers, but why as people, as taxpayers, not seeing the benefits of their hard-earned money that's paid in taxes? Why? And there's no accountability. There's nobody to point a finger at. The money was there. We paved why do they only pave the roads right before the election? When and they put the butter coat of dambar that lasts a couple of months or before the month. I'm throwing these things out there because this is part of the frustration that I hear and I see and I feel myself. The potholes, the development, the infrastructure, the maintenance of government buildings.
Pathetic.
Baba,
Pathetic.
Mado, well, explain this to me. Why is there no transparency and accountability? I've got an acronym that I'm telling them about that I want them to use. But why is there no transparency and accountability when money just evaporates, disappears, and you have like so many crores of taxpayer money just disappear? Why? How's that allowed to happen?
So accountability is something which I think is practically invisible. It's not even there at the moment. A basic thing that I think all politicians who are going into elections every 5 years need to do is give an account of what they've done.
Yes.
Not what promises they are going to, of what they're going to deliver later, but of what they've done. Now, it's very easy for any citizen to find out and get the information from any of these authorities, whether it's state government, central government, or from local bodies, what expenditure of and to what extent what projects have been taken up. Now, as a matter of practice, since my father got elected, every election what we used to do is print a pamphlet with two sides. One side of the pamphlet shows whatever he's done in the last 5 years, and the other side shows of what proposed works we're going to do.
Awesome results.
So that is one thing we've continued doing. So what happens is whatever expenditure I have procured through the state, central and the local funds that we've received and where they've spent, that can be seen by everybody.
It's transparent, right?
It's transparent. But I have not seen a single other candidate all over the 20 wards apart from my family doing this.
I want you to look at the screen, and then we're displaying what I saw in Mapusa, and this is my Mapusa. This is the place.
This is the second floor.
This is the second floor.
Yeah.
This is Mapusa market. You guys have already gone really far ahead, but we went to the Mapusa market, Shashank, and we claim and we whine about it. This is me on Market Day Friday, yes? It's an absolute mess. I spoke to some shopkeepers. We walked around the market, the fish market, the chicken market upstairs. We look at the state of this place.
What do you think, Merv, is the result of chaos?
No enforcer. So good. I'm glad you asked me that question. I have come up with an acronym. I'm going to give this to you, and I want you to use this with pleasure. This is something that I've thought about, and we cry about all the stuff. Look at the bond stands. Look at the infrastructure. This is a building in prime Mapusa.
Yeah.
You know how expensive a property in Mapusa would cost right now, and you've got a valid property sitting fallow, empty, patra covering the lift shaft that is not being disused, rack and ruined, just fallen apart, and you can't figure out why you've got parking problems because you've spread the market out everywhere where the cars and bikes are supposed to be parked. And rather than have everything so that our goans can go and shop in one building, in one complex, sell their wares and sell their produce in one place, they're all spread out throughout the market and creates huge traffic jams. The acronym I'm going to give you is T.H.E.R.I.A.C. T.H.E.R.I.A.C. Can anybody for 100 points tell me what the acronym, or what the meaning of the word T.H.E.R.I.A.C. is, by the way?
That sounds complicated, Merv.
It is complicated, Ajoy. T.H.E.R.I.A.C. is a poison, is a potion used against poison.
I see.
T.H.E.R.I.A.C, I'm saying it again. T.H.E.R.I.A.C is a potion used against poison. Poison, and when I say the word poison, I talk about all the stuff you're seeing on the screen, not just Mapusa, your potholes, your underdevelopment, look at the filth, guys. This is where you get your food from. It's disgusting. The word T.H.E.R.I.A.C is a potion used against poison. T.H.E.R.I.A.C stands for transparency, happiness, enforcement, responsibility, implementation, accountability, and common sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so transparency, it's all these words that the acronym T.H.E.R.I.A.C stands for is exactly why you are having these kind of problems, because there's no transparency. You've got nobody held responsible for money that's evaporated and disappeared, and you have mess like this left behind.
Yep.
There's no implementation, planning, accountability, common sense. But we did a happiness quotient. Last week we voted the top 100 countries or something, the top 3 countries in the world for happiness, and India's nowhere close. We're 118th.
118th, yeah.
118th, right?
Yeah, I've seen that ranking, and I think it's dropped by some 50 something points, whatever, in the last couple of years.
Happiness is only part of this acronym. But if you've got a mess like this that people are seeing every day, and we as citizens of Bardes want to go shopping, I don't want to go to Delfino's, and nothing against the big malls. I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
I'd rather go to the mom and pop people selling fresh bhaji vegetables. I can buy it from the market, right?
Yep.
Why is the Mapusa market look so filthy, so underdeveloped? Do we not have the funds for that? Were the funds not
The
collected?
reason why my first question to you when you brought up the issue of the market was, what do you think chaos leads to? It leads to a way of confusion that will eventually let people make money and not allow there to be any order. See, you have to understand that when there's order, when there's a system in place, there's transparency, because you know how many people are sitting in the market. You'll know where everybody's placed.
How much they paid to sit in the market, right?
Yeah, there's zoning. See, zoning is something that has been proposed by the state government under the Vendors Association, which we formed, I think, about 4 years back. And our chairperson in Mapusa, along with the ruling side, has not been able to do vending zones. How difficult is it?
But they're not doing every job. They have people in place that have to implement these rules.
You have to understand that this is a deliberate, systemic sort of creation of chaos.
Yeah.
To make money. This is not because people are not paying attention. This is done on purpose to create that situation.
If you have people in power, smart people in power that genuinely care about these kind of situations, it's not them that are going to paint the market.
Yeah.
They have to have people in place to want somebody to monitor the hygiene, somebody to monitor the electricity, somebody to monitor the parking, somebody to monitor all these different facets. It's not the politician.
They're all there.
But then why does it still look like this and nobody is being held responsible? My Mapusa market...
You know that the Mapusa market got a notice from the health department to shut it down.
Kenna, when?
Is that for the chickens?
No, it's for the entire of the fish and the meat market, the one that you are looking at on the screen.
Why, if a restaurant doesn't operate and meet health norms or safety norms, they get shut down?
Yeah.
Why is this government facility running the way it is and continues? This is not yesterday, last week, last year.
Because it's a cash cow. They can't shut it down.
I thought just now
telling you they're not going to shut it down. This is all a way of saying that we're doing something, but not actually doing something, and then letting it continue the way that it is.
Now, do you understand why I say it's so complicated and people out there feel so helpless? Joe Schmo like me off the
Don't
street.
elect those people again. Now you've seen this for the last 5 years. You have a chance now in March and April to vote for a new set of people. Vote for better people.
But there's complication itself. Should I vote for BJP? Now BJP is in power, correct? I'll vote for Congress. How much better will Congress be? This is not something that happened last year. Let me ask you this question. Just now, 2 minutes ago, you said to me, you can go online and research everything. Everything should be put in online. And I love that is one solution when people say they have all these different solutions on how to fix the problem, right? One solution is make it transparent. If you have everything online, Dr. Pramod Sawant puts everything. He's got all these departments and all this information online. You should be able to go and check and verify where your money is, how much was spent, who was spent. If you've got a market and you've got vendors paying money to operate in that market, how many vendors paid the money, blah, blah, blah. But why was the money properly spent? How do people check and see, you know what, the BJP is in power right now? Where do I start?
But is it about political parties?
It's not about political affiliation. The Congress and BJP are just two party names.
Yeah.
It's about the people in those parties that actually care to do. Like, if you genuinely care, you're Congress.
Yes.
This thing, right?
Yes.
BJP's in power right now.
Yeah.
I know Joshua. I know people that are in whatever. You can throw a dart at a political party, and I would love to hit somebody who's genuinely in there to make a difference, to make a change.
Yeah.
If you've had this problem for this long, you mean to tell me people don't stand up in arms and say, "Where's my money? Why does this mess continue to happen?"
No,
You're the
Mapusa has now become like. How do I put it? They are so complacent, everyone.
A cesspool.
Okay, no, but this is not only the political class, it's everybody. Everyone across the board. Citizens, people, everyone is just okay with everything that's going on. I find it so, it's strange that you can...
Disgusting.
It is disgusting. It is actually disgusting to get out of your house. You see that there are no basic civic amenities.
Yeah.
Potholes, the drains are open. Whatever filth we could see on the screen,
cables hanging from the
people
pole.
are just okay with it, which is something which I find absurd. There are groups of people, there are individuals who bring up these things and want to oppose it, but there's no sort of support base coming from the general public in that direction also.
And where do I start? If I make a complaint against Shashank, Shashank will call he's called the police, and I'll get locked up. And people are scared about this. I'm using it as an example. I don't mean you. I'm saying to you, people are scared to complain. People are scared to talk about this. Shashank, people are scared to talk about these things that bother them. You just mentioned potholes and the infrastructure that's crumbling, falling apart. We've got a great country. Forget the country. I'm talking about Goa. I'm talking about my Mapusa market that I went to with my dad and my grandma. We used to go to St. Xavier Bakery, and she'd go and buy supplies from the Posoro in Mapusa. My dad took us to the fish market. At that time, the fish market looked almost the same, if not better. Can I tell you that?
It was better.
I swear to you, I kid you not. So this is something that's close to my heart. Why? You talk about how you have to just look outside your door or look online and you'll see the results. And people are still in power doing the same thing they've done for the last many, many years. And that's why...
I think, but in general, in most of the other constituencies, you do see a sort of change over time. Mapusa, I have no idea what is it that people in Mapusa actually want, if not to live exactly like how they're living now. I don't understand. Because I would love to have you in the area that I live in. Come and see the place. It's really a good area in Mapusa that you can live in.
That's my first run-in with Mr. Shashank Narvekar. He came there, and he's not BSing, and that's what I love about him. He's not BSing. He came to fight with me because my boys were tying the cable, and he had problems in the past.
He came to talk to you, not fight with you.
He came to
we did have an argument.
Not in a nice way. No, but you cared about your constituency. You cared about how these cables, and I explained to you, Shashank, those are not my cables.
Yeah.
People break, and today you had a fall, and I'm not afraid to talk about it.
Yeah.
Baba, we have rules as responsible goans, as responsible business people, as responsible people that are having our industries and businesses run. Pay your taxes.
Yeah.
Make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do, right?
Absolutely.
And if you're breaking the rules and somebody's bringing it to your attention, fix it.
Yeah.
If my cables are hanging anywhere, please do call me. We're infinite. We've got cables everywhere around Bardes. But don't blame me for all these illegal or all these people that don't give a shit about their networking and the cables that kill and hurt and maim people. That's not me.
Yeah.
I'm not you know what I'm saying. As a politician, I'm not pointing fingers at you.
But one of the biggest problems that we had with the internet cables after they cut down is the drains, all the cross drains which go, at the end of a particular street and turn into, go across the street to the other side. There's, I think, in my ward last year when we did desilting of the drains, we had almost a truckload of cut internet cables that we had to take out from multiple areas where there were cross drains. And that clogs everything.
I am very passionate because I am one of those people that is involved in this, and that was our first interaction. I explained to you at that time. My cables are tied up high by the rules of the electricity department. We paid lakhs and lakhs of rupees, if not crores, to the government of Goa to be able to use the poles. And I explained that all to you. There's a lot of other operators.
That was one of the issues also. I remember I spoke to you about that. Whenever there's any work sort of going on in the jurisdiction of any town, any village, it's a duty of the state government to inform the local representatives that this kind of permission we are giving.
Of course.
They give a permission. I think you had got it from some office in Vasco. If I'm
We paid through the franchise that we were operating with.
So the operational licenses or whatever permissions you had got, although your whatever work you're carrying out of setting up the cables was within Mapusa, nobody in Mapusa as an elected representative from the chairperson to the chief officer to all the elected councillors knew that this permission is given to you.
Where is that information? Why is that information?
Shouldn't it be coming to us?
Absolutely. But this is exactly why I use the word T.H.E.R.I.A.C.
Yeah.
This is an acronym that is one starting point for anybody that wants to make a change in Goa. You need to have the transparency, the happiness, the enforcement, the responsibility, the implementation, accountability, and common sense.
Yeah.
Your representatives in Mapusa, if they really care, exactly what you did, you came and stopped me and said, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
This is causing problems. And I explained to you at that time, we've got permission, we're legal.
Yeah.
But why do you not have not only the transparency, the responsibility, but also the accountability? If I don't pay my taxes, I go to jail.
Yeah.
Where's the taxpayer money that is supposed to be used to do the development, the maintenance of all these places? And I'm using Mapusa as one example. We talked about potholes.
Yeah.
I've got a huge problem with the police.
Yeah.
I've got a huge problem with the police. You've got somebody stabbed. You've got robberies that are happening all the time. Guys, and I'm so fed up of hearing, this is Goa. This is not some fucking corrupt big city. This is a place that we live in and we've always been saved. Doors were never needed to be locked. But the police have no power to go and lock up people because somebody is using this MLA, this politician called and said, let him go. Why can the police not do their jobs? The government's not doing enough of work, like you're saying, to decipher and let the information flow down to the local people that actually care.
Yeah.
And the big boys are not letting the police enforce the laws. When's the last time you heard a police complaint was resolved? They caught somebody or something that was fixed. The police are out there collecting money for traffic fines and the other guys are doing all. And I sound like a Debbie Downer. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of very good politicians. There's a lot of very good police. I don't mean it that way. I'm talking about the things that we talk about on the show, the bad part of it, not to stir it up, but to make people aware of it. I've got somebody like you, qualified, knowledgeable, who can answer these questions. Why aren't the police allowed to do their jobs?
I think it's because also the whole process of sort of getting a job has now become a government job or basically a system-oriented job, which is like a police or a department which is associated with government. And actually, police should not be so sort of controlled by the government. I think the last time you had that sort of a government which was non-interfering in the police must have been like 2 or 3 decades ago.
Yeah.
I can't even remember when the last time we had like a non-interfering local big boss politician who would do, whatever is locals actually want, as opposed to, we see now police are actually monitoring peaceful protest.
Yeah.
And then then there are robberies happening and there's no patrolling.
But that's it's ironic, right? You cannot. The other day we went to we wanted to film these poor people that are protesting Unity Mall. I didn't even know there's a rule now in Azad Maidan that you cannot have more than 5 people gathered together.
They moved it as well.
No. That was the imposition of a section 163 on that particular day. So that is for to maintain the peace and whatever. I don't even know why. Yeah, and then they had the whole BJP national president coming in and they had a rally of some 500 something people just 2 lanes down from there. Yeah, but I didn't understand the whole point of imposing that section in the first place. If you're going to, the people who are imposing it only are violating it.
Yeah, but that's the point that I'm trying to make, right? There's no implementation, there's no enforcement, there's no transparency, there's no accountability. If they're doing something so blatantly wrong, who's the authority that's supposed to correct it and say, Baba?
The High Court should take so much cognizance of these kind of things. If at all there's nobody who amongst the elected representatives or the higher up police who are, taking action. The courts need to step up, but now people question the courts also.
It's there's you're going to get into a whole new can of worms. We're going to get into the judicial system. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Merv Britto Show. I appreciate you joining us. We've got a guest that I'm so happy to have, Advocate Shashank Narvekar, who's also a ward member in Mapusa, who's we've spoken about this. If you've tuned into the show before, we've spoken about the problems, and I don't mean to sound like a Debbie Downer, but these are things that need to be spoken about and people need to be made aware of. We do the show every week and it's live. There's no editing. We do this because we're actually passionate about what we do, and this is our contribution to a place we love so much. If you want to get in touch with us, you're more than welcome to get in touch with us. Put the social media handles on the screen. You want to read out some message, Ajoy? We want to take some calls and all, we can do that. But I'm so engrossed and I'm so into this conversation that I'm having with him, because you can never get a chance to have somebody so important answer my questions. Go on, Joanne, you want to ask something?
So
I'm sorry.
Go on.
I'm just actually surprised that more politicians would not want to come and be more
Naka
open
Baba, I'm busy. I'm busy. Shashank, my schedule is full, Baba. I can't come. Yola. No, I'm not going to get into it. Tell me.
So I've got a couple of questions.
Sure.
Obviously, you're talking about the judiciary. So what I don't understand was there was that post for the enforcement, sort of the ombudsman was like vacant for Goa for over a year. I can't understand how there could be no enforcement office ombudsman overseeing Goa for over a year. That seems like the strangest thing.
Baba?
Yeah.
Ombudsman ki there.
But we're reporting on it.
What was the role that we spoke about? It wasn't an ombudsman. Nobody's heard of an ombudsman. Ajoy, what was the position that was supposed to be filled?
The
Lokayukta.
Lokayukta, no. We spoke about Lokayukta, no.
Yes.
These are the people. Sorry, sweetie, I'm taking over.
No, this is what I'm saying. How can a state operate for a whole year without even having that oversight? Plus, additionally, so many vacancies in the courts. We've got a case we've been waiting to file for 2 years. We've been told, there's nobody in the courts right now that can actually take that case. No one's sitting. So this case is sitting dormant, and like you can't run out of time to be able to.
We have that same issue in the Mapusa courts also. The Mapusa court basically houses A to G, 6 courts. 7 courts, out of which 4 are vacant. There are only 3 judges in Mapusa right now.
But that's what makes no sense. Do we not have the money?
No. But when they had the qualifying exams, people didn't qualify for the exams.
But you mean to tell me? All right, okay, fine. Qualifying exams is one thing, right? If you can pay your way into becoming a constable or an inspector and all these kind of things,
or even a teacher.
But the poor teachers have to pay to get a job. So anyway, I've got so much. My mind's going 100 miles a minute. The point you mentioned judicial system. The judicial system here is an absolute joke. You have cases that run 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
So you feel the need. Why should I even bother to register a case? Why should I take it to court? Because I'm going to lose. I'm going to spend all this money, all this time, and I don't have the time or the money to spend, right? So let it go. And it keeps happening, right? Why, with all the taxes, with all the grants, with all the money that's put aside that the central state governments give you guys, Shashank, I don't mean you personally, but that give our local people in charge, why are these problems not being resolved? The judicial system didn't happen yesterday. That's a different story. I'm talking about locally. When you see these issues that continue to happen, and you're one of the few, like you said, you're one of the few people that's willing to answer these questions. Why do you let this, or why do we allow this to continue to happen? Vote a different party. It's not that easy, because you've got people on both sides. People have turned around and said, you know what, I'll vote for the lesser of the evils. It shouldn't be that way, right? You've got people that genuinely have the track record, like you said. You put your stuff on a pamphlet to let people know what I've accomplished.
Yeah.
Ajoy, you got a call coming in. If it's on right now, take it, because I'm not going to lose my train of thought, because you got a call. Or you want to take it right now? Who is it, dude?
I'm calling back. I think this listener.
So make a sign to me. Make a sign to me when they're on. We'll take a couple of quick calls. The point of the fact of the matter remains that we're so as Goans. 2 things. I would love to go to my Mapusa market and shop and park my car, park my bike, or take the bus like the old days and go and do my shopping, get back and leave. It's such a mess. I don't even want to go to the market. I'd rather order from Swiggy or go to a supermarket. Number 1. Number 2, in every village, the joining part of every village, Saligaon, Para, Nagwa, or Para Kalangut, all these junctions, you've got these like mushrooms popping up, these shops and these stores. I see it happening I'm from Saligaon. I love my village, but the things that have happened and that have changed it to another, you may as well be in Bombay, you may as well be in Dharavi. Yeah. At the junction of everywhere, two villages meet, jurisdictions meet.
Yeah.
Why do we magically have these things popping up where they've given licenses, electricity connections, all these things happening, and it continues happening? We're busy working to make a living, to eke a living, to survive.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, the people that are doing this full time just scot-free. And these are the people that they have the power. I'm not saying every politician. There's a lot of very, very good, majority of good people.
I agree with you. There are a lot of these mushrooming shops around the major junctions have actually destroyed our local markets.
Yeah.
Because, there are multiple issues with that. One thing is that if you get something like this very close to your residence, why would you travel all the way to Mapusa, to a market? You're destroying one whole section there. The filth that they throw out at the back of their shop never gets collected by anyone. Often there are orders passed by courts or by authorities to sort of demolish them. They get demolished, they're back again within some time, or they're shut down, they're sealed. Sometimes some officers even overreach their powers where they don't have the authority to seal structures or do these kind of acts, but because they get calls from politicians or whatever, they seal them and trouble people. So it's both ways, but I don't think this is a great way forward with these kind of establishments coming up everywhere, because then what does a person who's setting up a legal business do?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're encouraging more people to then go the way illegally. Like I'll tell you, in Mapusa, one of the biggest problems that we're having in the municipality, according to me, is the time taken to get licensing done. You have, so if you want to set up this sort of business like what you're talking about, you need a construction of a temporary structure license. Then you need to have a NOC for water and electricity. Then you need to go to other departments which are like fire, FDA, blah, blah, blah. And then you need to get an establishment or a trade license depending on the kind of business you're running. The average time taken in the Mapusa municipality to get one of these licenses done is anything between 6 to 8 months.
So that's a good, but that's a good system in place, right?
It's
How do these guys come up?
But think about it. If I take a loan to set up a business today and it takes me 8 months to get the first license, by the time I get only the licensing done, it's 2.5 years.
Yeah,
why is that encouraging for me to start a business legally? I'd rather just put
an illegal structure, no?
Right. So I passed a resolution about 3.5 years ago. 3.5 years ago for a single window clearance for this sort of a business where somebody who's local wants to set up a small business within a private area or comunidad area or whatever open space where the owner of the property is giving an NOC to set up such a business, where we have a sort of basic structure which we define. Let's say a 4 meter by 6 meter shop. You can't go beyond that size. Okay. And you give them a single window clearance. So the day that he makes the application, you give him all these 3 licenses.
My God.
On a provisional basis, for which has validity as a provisional license for 6 months. Within that 6 months, the applicant has to comply with all his side of whatever permissions, because you need the FDA, you need those things are from separate departments, right? So let him clear all those things within the first 3 months. And the next 3 months are for our staff to verify that he has complied with everything. At the end of that 6 months, that provisional license can be converted into a permanent license.
Granted.
So we get revenue on day 1 of the application. From our side, it's good. He can start his business on the second day after the application. From him, it's good. Then he does the compliance. He gets time. The other departments get paid. Everyone is happy. Why can't they do implementation? After passing this resolution, the ruling side has not framed rules for 3.5 years on this. So that's why I said, when you brought up the issue of the market, this is a deliberate attempt to create chaos for certain people to make money.
But that's the whole idea. Do people not see this? Do people not enforce this? Do people not, like your Lokayukta or official government agencies, not see that this is happening?
Lokayukta's role is restricted to only the from what we have got as elected representative. We only have to show our assets. It's nothing beyond that. So far, there's nothing else beyond that the Lokayukta is doing.
As politicians, you've got to be transparent and disclose your assets.
Our assets. So we
Your
need to give them
assets or of the ward that you're representing?
No, our personal assets.
Okay.
Which should be the case. It have to happen anywhere in the world. When you stand for election, you got to declare how much money.
Like when we file assets, it is basically our family. It's me, my wife, and then the dependents.
Yeah.
My children or whatever.
And what if I do? So there's a joke. There's a little bit of more of a joke. It should be that way, where you have to be transparent about your finances before, during, and after.
Right.
You can't have been a politician or a layman.
That's also a prerequisite for when you file your application or you file your nomination, right?
Yeah.
You have to file an affidavit of your assets.
But there's ways around that, Shashank. I know that.
No, but that's linked to your income tax returns, right?
Understood.
So,
Understood. Can I ask you a very silly question? I'm going to ask you a rhetorical question. But do you think our taxation system in this country is working well?
Frankly, I would not want to pay looking at the kind of condition that is there.
But that's the point. We pay a lot of money. You pay a lot of money in taxes. I'm just saying the taxation system, people are able to hide money, black money that's destroyed, go. Money's come from all over India, especially after COVID and stuff like that. People have bought properties, tracts of land. People have given people money in bags to buy overpriced properties because they want to clean up money. You and I know that the taxation system, the implementation, I come back to my acronym, but all of this is not working. So if you declare your finances before, how can you have politicians driving Lamborghinis? How can you have politicians that make a pittance of a salary as a politician? They've got a huge responsibility.
The salary is not a pittance at all.
But you can't afford the assets you have.
See, it's quite disproportionate when you see the level of the politician also. There is a politician who is at the level of local self-governing body, which is the panchayat and the council and the corporation, which, like, our salaries when I started, first of all, we don't get a salary, we get an honorarium, which is something which is described as our job is supposed to be an honorary post and we are supposed to only be helping people.
Gotcha.
And what we get paid is not a salary. It is an honorarium for the duty that we do. It's supposed to be, when the act was made, the honorarium was described as travel expenses or your...
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So when I started my term, our honorarium was 8,500 rupees.
Was 8,500 to pay your expenses. Gotcha.
Per month.
Gotcha.
Frankly speaking, right now in 8,500, what can I afford?
What can you do with 8,500?
So we pushed with the state government to increase the amount. Now we get 18,500. Okay, which is still... It's ridiculous. But the MLA
making more than that.
Yeah. The MLA, their salary is 2.5 lakhs
per month.
Whoa. Okay. And then apart from that, he also gets, I think, some 10 staff who are paid for. And then he gets telephone allowance.
Got a lot of different allowances.
Then he got petrol and whatever vehicles and all these things.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to put this out there. I'm just going to say to you, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. And there's something that's driven me mad about this beautiful country that has so much potential, so much natural resources, brain power, blah, blah, blah. It's being done all around the world. Shashank, don't reinvent the wheels. Set up systems. If you genuinely want to change, if you genuinely want to see the change, you've got technologies like blockchain. You've got technologies like... now with social media, with online presence, you can put everything online. People can actually watch and see what's happening, right? These politicians do a hard job. It's not easy. I'm not saying that. I'm not painting everybody with the same brush. These politicians have a tough job and compensate them proportionately.
Yeah.
So you deserve more than 18,000 a month to do the job.
100%.
You are one of very few people that is able to govern your constituency and make sure that the rules and regulations are followed, blah, blah, blah. That's so important to me. Pay you a lakh. I don't care. But I want to make sure that when I pay my taxes, then I'm actually seeing the results. I'm not talking about anything specific. Pay the politicians properly, but don't let them abuse the system.
Correct.
Make sure your judicial system is what it's supposed to be like anywhere around the world. You just gave me such a brilliant solution or suggestion of how to apply for a license, a trade license. It should take 6 months. Set the process in place. Put it online. Upload your documentation. It's done everywhere in the world, Shashank.
Yeah.
Why should it take you so long? And then in the meantime, you're letting all these illegal operators come from all these states and build up these what I call the mushroom shop that pop up. How can they have legal licenses, electrical connections?
You need to understand, Merv, also the demographic that we have to deal with as politicians.
Yeah.
We don't have like what you have in the studio now is a different demographic from what I actually deal with on a daily basis. Here you have more educated people. To what you said about filling up forms to get licenses, a lot of the people don't know the process of how to simply write their own name.
Yeah.
There's a large demographic in India that don't know how to do just basically that.
God.
You have to understand then how do those people deal with getting a license. If you've seen most of these sort of mushrooming establishments, they are mostly set up by people who know how to run a business, but they don't know how to do documentation.
Yeah.
They know how to run a business, but they don't know how to do documentation. What are we doing as establishment to help those people to solve that issue? See, education is one part of it.
Education systems are goddamn
No. I'm just not the education system.
Understood. I know what you're saying.
Having the basic education to do all this is something that they don't have access to. So then when they come to this stage where they are applying for these sort of licenses, we are supposed to make their life easier to get these licenses, which we're not doing as an established.
Oh my God.
That is why they're going and setting up these illegal businesses.
But why
the way that government officers and the way that the staff in all the government municipal authorities, the way that they act with people who come into
God,
horrible,
that's scary.
horrible.
Shashank.
Yeah.
They should be getting like how all private institutions have soft skills training. I think all of our government institutions need to start having HR.
Yes, that would be great.
They need to
Have a rating scale. How did I perform my job?
They need to have.
But nobody does. They treat you like crap.
Yeah.
When you go to an official government building, first of all, you're so scared to go and speak to an official. You're so scared to go to a police station and speak to the cops. You're so scared of. But these guys are there to serve the public.
And I want to also say that this is not across the board. There's great staff at every level.
Of course, of course.
There are great officers that are doing a good job. But in general, everyone just fears the whole process of entering into a government building, because from the person who's standing at the door right up till the one who's sitting in the AC cabin, it's just a tedious process to go through everybody. And why is it just have little counters where people can just fill up forms? You don't have to pay somebody sitting outside on a desk.
Yeah.
But our government offices now are having, I think, almost 50% vacancies.
Oh my, I've interviewed so many people that have been trying for 10 years to get a government job.
I'll give you the example of the Mapusa municipality. I've been bringing it up for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Where as the sanction strength of the people who are working in, who are supposed to be working in the grade 2 municipality like Mapusa is 205. We are now currently only employing 130 employees as permanent employees. 67 posts are vacant at different levels.
Goodness.
And then they have 200 people hired on contract basis.
Yeah, why is that?
And then spending more.
You're spending more money.
Yeah.
No. We are not spending more money. I actually pity the people on the contract basis, because they do the same, like upper division clerk, lower division clerk, you have these 2 posts, right? There are certain, when you go through the official hiring process, there are requirements or checklists, as they say, for you to qualify for those posts. When you take somebody on contract basis, you're throwing out that checklist. You can take anyone to do any job.
Yes.
So then you can hire your friends, your relatives.
Course, but that's what I'm saying. You're wasting more money.
The pay scale is completely different. I don't see the point in actually getting hired as a contract labor, because you can never get the designation of a upper division clerk. You remain as a contract labor. So you can't go above a certain pay grade ever. So the upper division clerk, for example, if he's earning 60,000 rupees on the current pay scale, there will be a person who's on contract doing the same work earning only 15 to 20,000 rupees. Why would you continue to do that for 10 years, 15 years? They don't get pension, they don't get provident fund, they don't get anything. There are people in the municipality working now for 20 years on contract basis.
But that's that's a glaring, obvious problem, right? That is a problem that needs to be listened.
But I brought this up specifically with the chairperson on practically every year. I'm bringing every meeting.
But why is the chairperson not being held responsible? Listen, this has been on
because
record.
She then hires her own people in
that's
contract.
Wrong. That's illegal. That's wrong. If you don't have, you can't fill your positions, and people have to pay. Everybody wants a government job, by the way, because you got the security of having a government job. I'll get a job no matter, and I'll do whatever I want to do, and I get a salary. I'm not here again. I'm just. This is my opinion. The fact of the matter remains, it works everywhere else in the world. Why can we not have it work properly here? We are happy to pay the taxes. Why do you think people squirrel away money and don't want to pay taxes and black money exists?
Because then you'll have people on merit and everything will work.
Absolutely. It could be such a...
Again, I'm going back to the whole thing where the confusion and the chaos is the easiest way to make money.
And it seems to be happening a lot, right? You can go on, tell me.
I'm just desperate to ask this question. Basically, Mapusa is the third city of Goa, is that right?
Who said that?
Third in what sense?
Third in terms of you've got Panjim, Margao,
No.
Mapusa. How would you...
In terms of
Biggest size you're talking about.
size, maybe.
In terms of... Well, would it be the number 3
I'm saying
city
Mapusa's
of
number
today?
1. To hell with
I'm only
Panjim.
asking the question. Panjim's
Don't
the
get pissed off,
capital. Margao was originally. And I'm saying, is Mapusa considered as the third city?
So
of
Mapusa,
Goa?
Panjim, I think in terms of at administrative level, I think Panjim is now at a corporation level, but otherwise Margao, Mapusa, Ponda, Vasco, all are at par.
अरे बाबा माझं कट कर रे आवाज कट
At
least warn me. No,
We've got a call.
I think we got a call.
just take the call. No, you put the goddamn ring. At least warn me. You're messing up. You're messing up. What
I
do you
was
think?
in the middle of my question. I'll
Sorry.
come back to it. I want
Who's on the goddamn line, man?
Who's on the line?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Hi, Mouse.
How you doing, Baba?
Francis from Santa Cruz.
Hi, Francis. You were obviously listening to the show. Do you have a question for Advocate Narvekar?
Yes. I have a lot of...
Oh, you're
Baba,
cutting in and out.
You need an internet connection, my friend. We provide internet, right? No, I'm kidding. I can't hear you. Can you get into better signal? Can you repeat your question, please? Hello?
The first question I want to ask to Advocate is, recently under the BNS provisions against the unity protesters in
Yeah.
wherein, more than 5 people were not gathered,
Mm-hmm.
whereas about it, so that BJP had such a huge celebration.
Mm.
Advocate Shashank orders be amended like this?
The order was not amended. The BJP leaders and the gathering was in violation of
In
the...
of BJP,
No, they are in violation of the orders.
BJP saying that special occasions were not allowed.
Hmm.
I want to ask whether these orders can be amended this way, or
No,
does it work?
ideally they are not amended. I have not gone through what the order is. So unless I see that, I can't, specifically answer. But so the implementation of these sections these are preventive orders. So it's generally when the district magistrate or the state government feels that there is a threat of sort of threat to peace and whatever to an area, they can implement these section in that particular area. It's to avoid basically law and order issues. But from what I've seen with the coverage on the news and everything, the entire BJP meeting and welcoming of the national president, they were clearly in violation of those orders. But I think one of their spokesperson also said that they sought some permission for it. But I don't know under what provision they sought permission. Once this implementation of this particular section comes and the time limit of that has been set in the order, actually these leaders, all of them, our CM, everybody's in violation of the orders.
Francis, I want to ask you a question. Where did you say you live in Santa Cruz?
Yeah, Santa.
Do you live in a cave in Santa Cruz? Because I can't hear a word you're saying, my friend. I'd love to be able to speak to you. I want to ask you a couple of questions. In this situation with the way the Unity Mall is, a simple question to ask you: if the majority of the people there in that area do not want this mall, why? And that's why I'm talking to Advocate Narvekar. Why is it being allowed to go to progress, to go ahead and happen? Any clues?
Pochis Kotyo.
I think because I think that I think
y'all speak to these people. I have no idea who.
I was
this quality of call can't come through. And just make sure you can hear somebody. Don't patch them through. You let me know, and then I'll take them on. Yeah. Thank you, Francis. Francis, I'm not being rude, my friend. I'm sorry I couldn't hear you, and I'm spending a lot of valuable time with Advocate Narvekar. If you guys want to call and just make sure you're in good signal or Wi-Fi or whatever, we love to hear from you. I'm loving to take calls, but I'm so engrossed in my conversation. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was going to say I think the answer was that there's been too much money already invested.
Why was the money invested without approvals? Now, as an advocate, sir, you would know that before you do any project or any government money gets spent, you measure 50 times and you cut once. Why has money been spent on this project when it's not even 25 crore?
I think there's no clarity on that. I think it's pretty obvious there's no clarity on where the money has gone.
But then why don't you...
it's just a figure that's been put out. I don't think it was a responsible...
Whatever the case may be, why has the government not come out? Listen, if my constituency or the constituents that live in this area don't want this, why is this being allowed to happen? First of all...
Generally, there's no consultation. I'll tell you what. We've seen with mega projects... all across the board, not only in Goa, but all over India. There's no consultation with the general public. It's part of the process. You should be doing that consultation.
Absolutely.
But they do it on paper. They don't... When the government is putting out hoardings all over saying that, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao and all these schemes, why don't they advertise the same way that they're doing a public consultation?
Can I tell you why?
Yeah.
Keep them down, keep them dumb.
Yep.
Keep him down, keep him dumb.
Agreed.
I'm gonna put that on a T-shirt, guys. Can somebody write this down? I won't forget it.
Next t-shirt.
Keep him down, keep him dumb, and that's exactly how you have the crooks do what they do and get away with it. Because exactly what you're saying, and it's sad because things happen and go that people don't even know about.
Yeah.
The jockeying, the backhanders, the bribes, all the stuff that's happening. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not painting every politician with the same brush. The majority of people out there doing their jobs do a great job. I don't care about your party affiliation, who you are, it's at the end of the day, it's what you do that shows the character, what you're able to accomplish and your history, your track record that proves how good or bad of a politician.
Let me give you an example. One failed such exercise that this government has taken up over time. There's a concept they came up with called Janta Darbar. I don't know if you've heard of this. None of y'all?
None. Yeah. This is actually news to me, actually.
So Janta Darbar is supposed to be an exercise where, in each taluka, the ministers all sit down with local self-government representatives, department officials, and it's open to the public to have a discussion about
like
whatever is going on.
Yes,
like a town hall punch.
Yeah.
Janta is public and Darbar is basically a sort of discussion. Darbar used to be held by kings, by the way, not by elected governments, but this government calls it a Janta Darbar. When they had it in Mapusa, we had the MLAs from Saligaon, Mapusa, Aldona. We had PWD minister at that time, Nilesh Cabral come. And there wasn't a single article on the newspaper that it was going to be held here.
Oh, God.
We in the municipality didn't know that it was going to be held. But the party organization was present. The BJP local party organization was present. And somebody happened to call me because it was at the Bodgeshwar temple in one of those halls.
Yeah.
And someone called me and said, this is going on. So I had questions about some of the projects that were going on the road and whatever. So I went there to ask these questions. And we had an argument there. What I saw there was, how do I put it politely? they were just basically telling each other how great they are.
Oh dear. Ego
Are
stroking.
you kidding me?
Yeah, I wanted to use more harsh words than stroking, but yeah.
Be polite. Be polite. I know, but you're a gentleman. That's why you wouldn't do that.
So when I asked the question, the response from Mr. Cabral was, looking at you, you look like you're educated. Why would you ask this kind of question?
Wow.
Yeah.
Aye.
Wow. Is he still in power?
So I don't know for what, I don't want to say why, but
My God.
he's no more the PWD minister. But my response to him was that your party knows very well to identify people looking at their clothes. But
Don't judge a book by its cover. But Shashank, you're a practicing advocate.
Yes.
You have the knowledge. You have the know-how. You have all these things. Let me ask you something. If people struggle to pay their bills every day, and that's the majority of people that live here in Goa, Baba, we want to go out and work and earn our money legally, but we're so frustrated in the system because now what you earn, you pay so much in taxes, and a lot of it goes away and evaporates before you see any, and it's not being used for what my taxes are supposed to go. I'm frustrated. I'm fed up.
Yeah.
There's no accountability. On a larger scale, by the way, you were mentioning about you have this Janta, whatever this thing is. We have that for all the villages also, don't we?
No,
For the panchayats, what do they call the Gram Sabha, no?
Yeah, the Gram Sabha. So Gram Sabha, the structure of the panchayats, in fact, is better than the municipalities, because municipality meetings, what you're talking about, Gram Sabha, is actually all the decisions that are taken of whatever developmental works and permissions that are to be, granted within the panchayat areas, are taken collectively by the elected representatives, and it is open to the public which live in
Locally.
In the Municipalities Act, we don't have that provision.
But and you're telling me again, I'm asking you, Shashank, you just told me it's not complicated. Politics is not complicated. Mate, I would need a doctor's degree, a PhD to understand.
No, but I'll tell you, so when this issue started coming up, and there were a lot of people from Mapusa, we have these WhatsApp groups of, activists and reporters and everybody, along with the elected people, ex-politicians, everybody together. There's so many groups, Bardeskar and Mapshakar and multiple questions kept coming up. And every time there was accusations that, these 20 councillors don't do anything, 20 councillors don't do anything. So every time the meetings would come up, I put it out there that the next meeting is on so-and-so date. Please come.
Did you have anybody show up?
No.
Oh, goodness me.
My mom and dad always.
Because we take important decisions, right? For
Of course. Don't complain about it
those
later.
decisions are then going to affect every person. And then you complain after those projects come up or whatever. They don't say when. By the way, the municipality is supposed to publish these things, which the municipality has not been doing.
But they should be held accountable, no?
But then I'm putting it out there and people are not interested in coming.
So those are the kind of people.
That's why I'm saying it's both ways.
What's
you
a
can't.
shame?
Yeah, it's.
Because the thing is, what I wanted to ask you is the fact is, because Mapusa is such a huge is such a huge place. It's one of those things that it's kind of concerned me over many years, because Mapusa, obviously is very famous, and obviously there's so much history to it, and obviously there must be people with civic pride. However, the fact of the matter is, it is such a mess when you go there. No, from the traffic, the congestion, the roundabouts are no longer roundabouts. There's all of these barricades there, so you can't turn in certain places. Obviously, walking into the market, even the shops around, everywhere looks like it's so run down, and it's such a shame. And I just think there's money in the place, but why does it look so run down? And it's just a real shame. From my eye, and obviously I use Mapusa, but I can't understand why it looks such a mess.
And you're an outsider. You're not a Goenka that lives here. You live here and you love this place, and you can't figure it out.
But anybody who traveled here 15-20 years ago and came here now would see this.
But they don't come back anymore, Shashank. That's why you've lost your tourist industry, right?
Yeah.
You've got a tourist industry that was thriving.
Yeah.
That was the goose that laid the golden egg.
Yes.
As my good friend Walter Lobo said, they've not only killed the goose, they've fried the egg.
Yes.
There's no more. The quality of tourists, the kind of tourists you're getting in Goa, are not the kind of tourists that will spend the amount of money needed to sustain the tourist industry. It's not. I hate to say it. I love all tourists, and everybody's welcome, but it's not the same Goa.
No, we've not managed to sustain the kind of development that is required for the people amount of people that are coming in. That is one thing.
Yeah.
Secondly, it needs to, if we are catering to, from ultra rich to people who come and want to cook in, let's say, a sort of caravan park.
Yeah.
Aren't we supposed to give them the facilities right from there to there?
Yeah.
Good luck.
We've neither given them the top notch sort of, like the beach belt, for example. It's a little better now in terms of at least the roads. But in general, apart from Baga Kalangud, where the roads have been widened, the rest of the sort of beach belts in the rest of Goa, they still have barely 3-meter roads
Yeah.
going into the beach stretch.
I ask you this question once again. The most important question, the reason I'm here today and I got you on the show is why? We could be here for hours. We could be here for days answering these questions. I've grown up in a different country, and you've got 3 different branches of governance. You've got your presidential, you've got your legislative, and you've got your judicial. You've got a great system in place here in this country. You've had these problems that have happened for decades, for a very, very long time. Shashank, why do we not have, what's the word? Do you have these leaders that are I can't even get my words don't come.
You're talking about accountability or the strength of the leadership?
The dynamic leadership that can see these problems. Your voting system is a joke. The judicial system's a joke. You can buy votes. You can fix the system. You can do whatever you want to get elected, right? You mean to tell me that you've got, and it's not ministers, you've got people in power that don't know these things need to be fixed. You've got an assembly that now operates for 5 days?
You have to understand that they are making this system.
Yeah, but people are watching them, right?
Yeah.
People know that they're making the system what it is today, right? How can you have a 5-day legislative assembly? 5 days.
Yeah, it's pathetic.
So, but we have this hopelessness. It happens all around the world where people have processes in place to fix these problems. And why are we trying to reinvent
talking about the
this?
5-day legislature, right? The session, this assembly session we had. And so our MLA is the deputy speaker of the house. I was just seeing an interview of his a couple of days ago, and he said that he spoke to the speaker and mentioned to him that, and the governor, I think, that they should not extend the session beyond 6 or 7.
Can you believe that?
Because I think a couple of sessions before they've been sitting till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the night. That is because you've reduced the assembly time from 15 days to 5 days.
Correct. And if you guys could do your jobs efficiently, you wouldn't need that amount of time.
They don't want to answer questions. They don't want to address the issues that are there. The governor gives, the speech, the opening speech of the governor was absurd. I don't know what he was talking about. He was talking about some other state.
When you start your session at 11:30 and you have lunch at 1:30 and you have chai at 4 o'clock,
It's 5 hours of work for 5 days for 1 week.
Are you guys not embarrassed?
The state is having 40 assembly constituencies. Each assembly has about 30 to 40,000 people living in it. You can't address it in 5 days.
Sir, do you mean to tell me nobody has the brains to see that there is a problem? Or they want this problem to continue happening?
That's what I'm saying.
So
they're doing it on purpose.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is no political party. This is the Merv Britto Show, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I wouldn't say that.
No, listen, it happens on both sides.
No. These cutting down of sessions and sort of avoiding accountability was not to this extent or not this blatant. This wasn't happening earlier. The assembly sessions of 15 days, 20 days used to consistently happen. It's since 1961, since we got our independence, since we had our liberation till now, we used to have those sessions.
So why are they not happening now? Because you're saying the BJP is in power?
They don't want to answer.
And why can't the Congress win? Take over the system.
People are not voting for them.
There you go. There's a reason, right? Listen, I again, I'm going to say to you, this is the Merv Britto Show, and these are our opinions. They by no means are the system of the show. Ajay, you've got a question.
Yes, I've got a question from a viewer here. His name's Karthik. I'm guessing he's had a run-in with the police because he was stopped, I guess, he was having some alone time with his girlfriend in Karnazalem. So he messages, when police stop couples or groups without an offense, threaten cases or make preventive arrests, what legal remedies does a common citizen have? can police be held personally or departmentally accountable for misuse of power? He's directed this question at Advocate Shashank.
Okay, so before Advocate Shashank gets to the answers, first of all, what was he doing in the park with his girlfriend, man? He's enjoying the weather. He's enjoying the beautiful park that has been afforded to him by the local politicians.
I'm guessing
I hope
so.
he was, right?
Yeah, he was in public land.
He wasn't there late night with a bottle of beer and all that kind of stuff.
I don't think so.
So if he's done nothing wrong, Advocate Shashank, why should you be scared to stand up to the police if I'm not doing anything wrong?
Yeah, he shouldn't have. Why? I mean, if they want to take him and register some sort of complaint, he can resist that. There's no problem.
I think he's referring to him being harassed. So
Yeah, but you're going to get harassed. If you go to, like we were just talking, Ajo, you go to a government building to do a job that should not cost you any money. No need to bribe. You should be able to go. You shouldn't be scared to go there, first of all. But you should be able to go and not have to worry about authority. You're there to do a job. They're there to serve you. They're being paid a salary with our taxes and been put in place to serve the public. Same like the police. The police are there to help you.
Yeah, but
so if you're not doing,
there are a couple of things you can do. First of all, make sure that whoever's asking you these questions is in uniform. His badge needs to be displayed.
can you ask to see the badge?
Yeah, the name.
It has to be displayed.
It
Yeah.
has to be displayed. You can also ask for the ID card. These are basic things that anybody can ask. A lot of times the people who are, the officers, they may not even have been officers, I don't know. But people who are indulging in this are sometimes not on duty. They're not authorized at that particular time to do this.
And they're not always playing by the rules.
Yeah, they're not. So these basic 2-3 questions, first of all, will kind of put the officer also on a back foot. That the person who is asking these questions is knowing his rights. And there's no harm in going to a police station.
Yeah.
But if you haven't done anything wrong, why not? Why not question
go
authority?
to the police station. What do they want to do? They want to file a complaint and put what there? What were you doing?
That's the question.
If you're not doing anything there, then there's no issue.
Ajay, was it you? Ajay? Ajay, did you get busted?
I wish.
Were you smoking a split
My
with somebody
life
checking the
needs-
check? So you were
No, but
scared.
My life needs
I
instead of a
once received a
excitement.
call from, they have this tourist police on the beach. I received a call once from a friend of mine from Bangalore whose younger brother or cousin was traveling here with his friend. And they were sitting on the sand after partying at one of these clubs and they were smoking a regular cigarette. And a group of the cops in civil clothes came.
Wow.
And they started, we'll call your parents and whatever.
Oh my God.
So these kids got scared. I understand why they have this fear. And I think those kids withdrew some money out from the ATM and
Oh my
gave them.
God.
Oh,
You're feeding.
But these 2-3 questions will ward off somebody who is...
Correct.
Yeah, so... I don't think people should be scared. Being aware is better than being scared, I think.
There you go. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Don't be scared. Be aware.
Yeah.
I got a follow-up question, and this is.
So what's the girlfriend's name? Did you find out, or is it okay now?
I got to call Karthik and find out. I don't know.
Yeah. God. Go on, Ajay. Sorry. What's your second
follow-up
question?
question? And this is, Shashank being of our generation, younger politician.
Yes, sir.
I always say, what are the top 5 things that I would like to see changed in Goa for the better? But the question is, what are the 5 things that he would like to see change in Goa for the better?
Can you hold that thought? That's a great question. I'm going to come around and ask you all because we're running out of time. I will come around and ask every one of y'all for a question. That's a great question.
All right.
I just want to say, Shashank, everybody, and I was alluding to this earlier. We all busy working our jobs to pay our bills and to do things by the law. And there's only a few people out there that have the luxury of being in politics and doing this and just continue on doing what they're doing, and you don't see the changes. So the people that have full-time jobs that cannot focus on the illegalities just keep complaining and do nothing. They don't show up for your meetings and all this kind of stuff. You can't complain if you sit back on the sidelines and whine about it if you don't want to get involved.
Yeah. No, it's. I don't think it's not okay to. People have the right to complain. You still pay taxes, even though you don't show up for this meeting. You're still paying your taxes. You have the right to question and to complain. I'm not saying a person who doesn't come to these meetings doesn't have a right to complain. I'm just saying you need to be aware that you have the right to be in that place and ask these questions.
And have your opinion heard.
Yeah, all these people just think that, okay, I've got this person elected, now everything is his fault.
And if he makes a mistake, I'm going to blame
That's
him.
not right. I don't think that's okay.
No, it's not. It's not.
So if you've given that person that right, you also have the right to question him. Question him. I'm saying question him. Problem is that at a lower, like we saw in case of that Birch fire, everybody is questioning the Sarpanch. That's because he's lower self-governing body.
You throw him under the bus. No.
People ask me also questions about the road, about the lights, about the water. They don't come under the purview of my role as a councillor. But because I'm interested in doing this service, I do keep in touch with the appropriate officers. I get those things sorted out. But when the MLA comes, they'll treat him like some god figure. I don't know for what they're doing that. Ask the same questions to him also.
But the MLA doesn't. The MLA should be somebody that can be also held responsible. You ask him.
No, you have to understand also the dynamics of how visits by an MLA to an area and a visit by a councillor works. I travel on my own on the bike.
Yeah.
And I meet people or whatever. The MLA comes with an entourage of 50 people. So any house that you're going to, the person in the house is intimidated.
Absolutely.
Immediately.
Anyone
asks a question, that whole culture needs to stop. When you're coming to ask for a vote, you want everybody's door open. But your door is not open when the citizen wants to ask a question.
Yeah.
This is why I'm saying that the 5-day session is not enough. They have to answer. Why are you not answering people's questions?
No, but the system has continued on like this. This is not the first term of BJP rule, right?
It's dropped from 20 days to 15 days, then from 15 days to 12 days, 12 days to 10 days, and now it's come to 5 days.
Why hasn't?
But it's been done by this government only.
Why can't Congress win an election?
I think religion plays a huge part in it.
Religion?
Yeah.
In what way?
I think the BJP has kind of found out how they can target certain aspects of people's lifestyle.
Religion based?
Yes.
Okay.
It shouldn't be religion based, though, should it?
It's not, Joanne. It shouldn't be that way.
It shouldn't be, but I think they've managed to strike something there.
Right.
That's one aspect. I think being in power for a long time, also Congress as a party became complacent, not trying to understand what the problems are being faced by people. So that also, I think maybe about 15 years ago, Congress should have also started sort of cultivating and helping younger people get into politics, which they didn't do. So there wasn't like a newer set of people getting into politics in that party, which I think
thought about that.
Yeah, which I think now, I mean, like for me, it was a choice that I made when I was young. But I don't think a lot of people thought about the kind of turn our state's going to take within a span of 10 years.
Yeah.
Like the land rates, the garbage, everything has gone down so terribly in the last 7 to 10 years. I don't think such a quick decline was also expected by everyone.
Listen, if you want to harvest a crop, you got to sow the seeds.
Yeah.
This is not about Congress, BJP. I couldn't care less about your party, your political affiliation. It's just a shame that in the progress and the process of all of this happening, we suffer. We as local people suffer. And if you complain and whine and do nothing about it, I'm the one who's pointing the fingers and saying, you're the one to blame for not getting involved. Do your share, get involved, help the right people get elected.
But we were also talking about that Vishwas bill that got ratified.
John Vishwas.
Yeah,
that's bullshit. That's crap. It's crazy.
On the last day of the session. And
yeah, but that's
just
the scam, Joanne.
Minute.
Baba, I can tell you that. I may be good looking. I may be good looking, but I've got a brain in here. John Vishwas bill is a scam. Many people will tell you that.
I know, but I'm just wondering.
Oh, you want to know his opinion?
Of course,
sir,
I know what you think.
Sir.
I haven't actually gone through the entire thing, so it's
Advocate answer, huh?
No. See, if you've seen any of the interviews or whatever I've given before, even on this Narvekar scheme which came up, okay, right up till the point of time where I didn't read the entire thing, I don't think it's appropriate for me to comment.
But that's an educated answer. If you don't have all the facts, you're not going to make this thing.
Because I don't want to mislead anyone or say something which is, just because I'm here, I don't want to.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I don't want you to. Okay, so I'm going to run out of time. I've got 107 more questions to ask him. No, I'm just kidding, obviously. I want to go around the room and very quickly, if you have a mic in front of you, you can ask him a question, but It has to be a very simple, straightforward question. I know you guys have been sitting here patiently. Ladies and gentlemen, all of you that's been watching, I appreciate you being involved in the show today. This is the Merv Britto Show, and I apologize because I've been carried away because I'm so excited to speak to this young man, this young gentleman who is so knowledgeable and down to earth and able to come and speak and answer our questions. If you've got questions, we'd love to hear from you. Get involved and do something about it. We've got our social media pages that are the very handsome Robin Hood sitting in front of me is going to put on the screen right now. Our social media handles at the Merv Britto Show. Leave us a comment, like, share, subscribe, tell people about what we're doing. Send us a message. We'd love to hear from you. We do the show every week and we love what we do, and we do it because we're passionate about it. I don't side with any party affiliation or political affiliation. At the end of the day, we want to make sure it's the common, the simple man that gets the greatest benefit. The people that are out there trying to do the best they can, and they're willing to get involved and do what they're doing. We want to make sure that we get the benefit, but it's sad because we've got this condition of despair. Everybody's so scared to go to a government official. Like he said, you're scared to talk to an MLA or a police officer or go to a government department, and you shouldn't have that despair. This show is all about that, and the fact that we can put this out there and speak to people anywhere around the world. You don't have to be going. If you've got a connection to go out, this is the kind of flat platform and forum for you to get involved. Who are we going to start with? Anybody's got questions to shoot? We're right here in the office. We'll do the comments and all later. Yes, sir. You were going to say something?
Why don't we go with that question I asked Shashank earlier?
Five things? Shashank, can we do the bullet? We can do these very quickly. Yeah.
So you
things.
said 5 things I would want to
that
see.
from your perspective, being in politics, what would you like
Only
to see?
in politics, right?
No, it could be anything pertaining to Goa. Some things that you would like to see act immediately. If you had the power, what would you do?
So first of all, I think getting out the message of having clarity on what are roles of each government authority is one thing that everybody needs to know.
Yep.
A lot of people are confused what the MLA is supposed to do, what the councillor is supposed to do, what
correct.
Each department is supposed to do. I think that is one thing that there needs to be clarity on. So one thing is not just putting out photographs of politicians, but to sort of give clarity on what each department does. It's one thing that needs to change. A lot of younger people have no idea which office
So true.
does what job. Clarity.
They don't know.
One.
So
Number
clarity
two.
is one thing. Second thing is, in terms of accountability and transparency, I think reports have to be there.
Of course.
Every term. And this should be across the board, not only with politicians, but also with officers.
Of course.
Of what, and contractors. Sorry.
Anybody in authority who's been granted the job of doing a job has to be able to be responsible.
Which apart from, like I said, apart from when we file the nomination, apart from the affidavit, we put there's no other sort of report.
Wow.
So, but that needs to be sort of implemented through the system. It should not be something I should not have to put out whatever I want.
Yeah,
it should
correct.
be transparent in terms of whatever public funds have been spent or whatever. There has to be something. Like a lot of times we don't have access as councillors. We don't know which funds are available and which funds have been spent.
But that's a problem in itself, Shashank.
Yeah.
Why should there not be more transparency, accountability? You should be able to find out any detail about
so
money.
that is one thing I feel we need to
Change.
work towards.
Understood.
Yeah, we need
Understood.
to change.
Number 4. Number 3.
Number 3 is time-based resolution to issues.
Awesome.
Okay, because it's like these licensing issues, things like that. Even when you, like, the government has conceptually started, all these Swachhata app. There's a PWD app where
Cyber,
you can make
it
complaints.
doesn't work.
It works.
I've tried a couple of different times to lodge a complaint about certain things, and it didn't work. At that time, I'm not saying it's still not working.
I think, but it fluctuates. I think that there are, it again depends on the officers that are running those particular areas. And there are officers who take this thing very seriously and they do follow up and get it cleared.
Some good people doing it.
They are doing it.
We had Joanna Perez talk about this, the same thing, where you can go and find out all this information, the development, your codes and all that stuff. But a lot of times they don't work, and it's sad. But if you're saying it's just a temperamental thing.
I have tried. See, the thing is, I have access to the government officers because I'm an elected representative. So I can always call and say there's a pothole here or there's some.
Wow.
I do as an elected person. But to try whether this app works. I have tried to go through that channel and check, and they have actually called back and.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's good news.
They have
That's
done.
great. That's
So,
good
I mean,
news.
credit where it's
Where it's due. I love that. Yes.
So-
and number 5.
That was number 4.
Number 4. Sorry.
Yeah. For I think younger people need to understand their importance.
Yeah.
I hope you guys are listening. I hope you youngsters out there are listening. You've got a voice. I mean, you got a voice. You've got an ear. You've got somebody who's willing to listen. I hope you guys are listening. Get the
They
young people
really
involved.
See, I started a very simple thing in my area. It took about a year to sort of set up the whole system. But I explained to the younger people who are new voters that I have a job. I have a job as a lawyer. If I have to leave that and spend my entire day in the ward checking whether the lights are working or whether the potholes are or whatever, there's water, then I have to stop doing my day job.
How do you pay the bills?
Okay,
Absolutely.
so then you'll have to pay me,
Absolutely.
which is something I don't want to do. I don't want to take money from you because I'm an elected and I get an honorarium. So I want to stick to that role. I want to do my day job. I want to do this because it's something I'm interested in doing. So it's your job to just send me a picture of the pole number of where the light is not working.
Great.
Right? So now in that whole area, there's such a good connectivity with all the younger people that they are involved and they are sending me a picture. See, for me, because I have the accessibility to these officers, all I need to do is send. I can understand that the younger people may find it frustrating to reach the officer directly. But then I'm there as a person who will bridge that link between them. So send it to me and be involved. There's no harm in doing that. I'm not going to be, I mean, if there are more people who are elected like me or who are more connected with this, you don't have that fear, no, of approaching authority.
Brilliant. And number 5.
One more. Number 5.
5.
You want to add more hours
I think
to the
we
day?
need to we need to start maintaining our government buildings.
Oh,
Baba Madhav, number 1. There's बाकीचे 4 सोड. Number 1 म्हणता तुम्ही. These days, it's a joke. It's so. Can you imagine? Ami Goenkar Mare. Ami as locals, we understand.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a tourist? I met with who was it? Hey, Sparky, you awake? Who were those people? What country were they from? Kazakhstan?
Yeah,
I met some Kazakhstani people at Mapusa market.
Gulf somewhere they were.
Yeah? Can you imagine an outsider coming to Mapusa market thinking I'm going to go shopping? I mean, it's a great experience like going to Thailand and all these other countries, right? But go to Mapusa market, the sounds, the sights, and the smells, Baba Madzo. I would get. Hey, we recorded some stuff. I want to put it out this week.
I think Mapusa market is competing with some of the smells from Bombay also.
My God, like Dharavi?
Yeah.
It's like being in Dharavi. Okay, listen, these questions are taking a whole lot of time to answer. And I love the fact that he's answering these questions and it's in an honest answer, yes? It is not about political affiliation. Anybody who's listening, it's not, I couldn't care less. It's not about that. I love the fact that somebody's honest. Somebody's willing to hit these questions head on, give you the answers. I've got the time. I'll make the time to answer these questions. The only way you're going to win and succeed is basically to get people involved. If you're doing what you're supposed to do, check my record. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I'm doing it for the right reasons, not to line my pockets. Yes, Mrs. Brito.
Okay, so I've got this question.
You only get one question. How'd you got 5?
No, it's one question.
Portalo to
I've been dying to ask this. So I've seen this slogan associated with you, which is Save Mapusa, Safe Mapusa.
Right.
I want to know whether it's a slogan or a campaign. However, on top of that, I think you could actually just take this a level up, as well as saying save Goa, safe Goa also.
Brilliant.
So I want to know, is it a campaign? And really, it should be on the state level as well.
Yeah, ideally it should be. See, I'm from the stage of where I'm starting at right now. I can only think of whatever's happening around me.
Correct.
And
that's right.
everybody needs to start, like I said, step out of your house and look what's going on around
Yes,
you.
absolutely.
So right now, for me, a major concern is the life that senior citizens are leading in Mapusa. There's no footpaths to walk. There's no benches to sit anywhere. It's exhausting to walk from the market to back to your house, and there's no bench to sit down if you get tired.
Yeah.
You know, these kind of basic things.
Yeah.
Drain covers. Every year we hear that someone or the other has fallen on some drain near the market area.
Terrible.
Okay, so for me, that safety. Another issue that I was also bringing up with our traffic people is like safe passage to school for children. We have about 15 schools and colleges in Mapusa, which are spread over various areas. And the entire journey from the bus stand, if you come by a public transport to Mapusa and then you want to go to your school or your college, is a harrowing experience for children, for teachers, for staff. Why isn't there some sort of... So I had come up with a plan and I wanted to start implementation on that with safe passage for children and everybody to go, where we sort of have a alternate traffic plan.
Yeah.
All these things can only happen with the start of some sort of vision or direction. So that is why I thought of Safe Mapusa, Save Mapusa.
Brilliant.
But that's a great suggestion, by the way, Joan, and I love that. Save Goa, safe Goa. Right?
Correct.
It's going down the shooter, mate. Let me tell you, it's not very much long. I'm not going to be around forever.
I know, but the thing is, what I like, the fact that you're absolutely right. You have to look in your locality, in your local area, of course, and you're focusing on that, which is 100% what you've been asked to do.
Yeah.
My point was more to say that you're absolutely right. You've got it right for your location.
I don't think I've got it right, but...
No. You've got the vision.
Yeah.
You've got the vision for that, but that also can also be taken up another level for the whole state too, because it's just...
No, this is why more and more people need to get it onto the vision and understanding of how administration needs to work.
Yeah.
See, it's not just... I'm not only saying that okay, this is a problem, this is a problem, this is a problem. I'm saying that we need to also be solution based with it.
Correct.
Like, how do we resolve this? For example, one of the easiest ways to stop encroachments onto roads is putting up drains everywhere.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But drains are also causing a major issue of water percolation in places like Mapusa.
Yeah.
For example, all the higher up areas, like next to Xavier's College, Ganeshpuri, all these areas.
No problem with drainage.
No. The problem is that they've been developed now. So you have let's say 1,000 square meter plot, which earlier was open to sky, where there was water percolation was happening. Now they've developed it into, let's say, a residential complex. Now the open space, as per our building rules, only requires you to keep 100 square meters open. So there's water earlier which used to percolate into
the ground, the water table.
Yeah.
Now is then going into the drains and flowing down.
Right.
So the design of the drain itself needs to be changed. For example, every 50 meters, there needs to be an open pit, open to ground. These kind of changes can only happen, or the understanding of how to make these changes can only happen when you understand what are the problems as you change, right? As the town changes.
Yeah.
Which I don't think, like, some of the engineers and people who are there in our departments don't want to conceptually understand this.
At a time like this,
but for this this is a design which I saw somewhere, I think in Indonesia, when I traveled there, where they have these open every 50 or 100 meters. They have a sort of a net metal mesh which is put around with. So every 50 meters of water
goes into the ground to replenish the water table.
Yeah.
But Shashank, I mentioned this earlier, but
I tried doing this, by the way, in my ward, and they were like, we don't know how to do it. I said, it's very simple. Just keep a gap in between, make a pit and put a mesh around it. How difficult is it?
But if you don't give a shit, it's not going to happen, right? If these guys are doing their job, they don't care about it.
Yeah, but if enough people are asking for it, then it can.
When your sports minister doesn't know the names of two of your biggest teams, mate, you've got a problem. When your PWD doesn't know how to do a drainage system that can help water go back into the water table, you got a problem.
Yeah.
This is nothing new.
But there are solutions. See, the thing is, solutions are being offered.
But you've got to have a brain to use that solution, right?
Also ears to listen and the humility to accept.
Yeah.
Of course. But that's what we're talking about. That's the whole idea of doing this, right?
Yeah.
Don't reinvent the wheel. Do what's being done out there. You've got something called the internet. If you look up on the internet for a solution, you'll find a solution to everything.
100%.
Everything.
There are roads, by the way, there are materials that you can use for roads which allow water percolation.
Of course. Of course. No, Ajoy, I'm not going to let you go. Go on, ask. Go on. Quickly, Baba. Hey, माझी question क्या ना रे? Oh, sorry, Neil. Hey, Ajoy, mat thora ek minute. Sang, begin sang. Listen, Baba. Huh?
Let him answer.
No, you go on quickly.
You've held the position of the additional government advocate,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So is that a central government post? Do you need to answer UPSC?
No. So for the state government, basically at each level, there is a government advocate which is representing the government at the local courts, the district courts, and at the
Just put him on hold. You're supposed to put it on hold. Sorry, Shashank, I'm interrupting you. Go on, you were finishing.
So you have these government advocates, and then you have who do the civil aspect of representing the government, and then you have the criminal side, which is the public prosecutors. They are called public prosecutors, and the ones who do civil litigation for the government are called the government advocates. So the state government is represented at the High Court mainly by somebody called an Advocate General, who right now is Advocate Pangam. I'm sure you'll.
AG, of course.
Yeah.
He's a rock.
The additional government advocates and the government advocates are appointed under him by the state government.
He's a tough cookie, yeah?
Yeah.
Bangam, people. Okay, you know what? I don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. If this gentleman is taking the trouble to call in, go on, take a quick
A
call.
lady,
mate.
actually.
Is it a lady?
Yeah, she's called in.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me now? Oh, lovely. Can you tell me what your name is and what your question is, Baba? Wonderful. Ajoy, y'all do such a I swear to God, y'all do such a great job of this.
Have I answered everything?
No, but I'm saying to you, right? I'm saying to you, if y'all have a system where we can route calls through, it's not rocket science. Put them on hold. Anyway, whatever. I wanted to say to you that there are so many. We already hit 2 hours. We normally do the show for an hour and a half. We've already hit 2 hours. Advocate Narvekar, I would love to have you back on the show. There's a lot of questions. I can see the calls. I can see the messages that have come in. We've literally run out of time, but there's so much more that I want to ask you. It's sad because only when there's money involved do people want to get involved. I mentioned to you earlier, we've got a silver bullet to solve everything. It's called the internet. You can, if you genuinely care to get an answer, to figure out a solution, go online. There are language models, there's ChatGPT, and all these different things that you can ask and solve any question, any problem you have. You can find the answer online. That is, if you care.
It's not that tough. Yeah.
In Malaysia, by the way, they line the roads with hardwood trees when they build the roads, and by the time the roads need to be refinished, they chop those trees to pay for the roads, teak wood, all the big trees. They cut those trees and they tar and pave the roads. It pays for itself. But the people are smart enough to regrow the trees in between those trees. So you have processes and systems in place where if somebody really cared, they could do these things.
That's why I'm saying people need to be aware and they need to be involved.
They do.
In everything.
But okay, I'm not even going to open up that can of...
I was going to say, Merv,
no more.
No, all I wanted to say is I think you've answered all these questions really, really well. I just wanted to say Mervin's a bit of a pointy finger person.
Am I pointy finger?
He's not a pointy finger person at you. That's just generally how he talks. That's all.
No, I have to deal with this.
Absolutely,
in the future, so
I know.
And it's okay.
That's the brilliant thing. You've answered all these questions and you haven't shied away from anything, which is fantastic.
And that's why that speaks volumes, right?
Yeah, correct.
Background, upbringing. Yeah, Joy, come on, man.
Mo, I just want to make a quick insight, and it's a.
Who was the woman, by the way?
I don't know. You'll have to call back.
You didn't get caller ID or nothing? Does it not show on the phone?
You know what? We leave that.
You guys are like politicians. If you had a brain, you'd probably call her back. Anyway, never mind. The cap might be too tight. Yeah.
Anyways, I just want to say that I think it's just a light bulb that went off in my mind. I think Shashank being here has made me think that if you want to really find good leaders, I think you have to start at the councillor level.
Absolutely.
Because I think they do very good work. I know for a fact in our ward there's a person who does very good work by the name of Nelson Cabral. And I think that way you can see how they function, how they think, just something.
You also need to understand that actually the local self-government elected people do all the work.
Yes, correct.
They actually do most of the work.
They're essentially the ones with the ear to the ground, so to speak, both phically and metaphorically.
Yeah, the worker ants.
Yes, correct.
But here again, you mentioned another Cabral. There's not the same Cabral that asked him about the clothes you're wearing. That's not the same dude.
No. It's a different one.
You know what, Ajo? I've got to say this, and I say this with all humility. It's nice to have important people that come in and answer your questions so upfront and honest and transparent
And openly, yeah.
openly, but I mean, there's so much humility, and I love the fact that he's doing that. He's a young person, not just in high positions like your CM and your PM and all these big positions, but you need, and this is something we've always said, I'm going to look right into the camera and say, you need a different generation to get involved, to solve these problems and stop complaining. You need people with a brain, with a voice, orators. You had Barack Obama in the States. You've had some really dynamic leaders that have come out and given you solutions to problems that have been made so many people frustrated in this beautiful place that we call home.
Yeah. Mervyn, you saw my nephew was at number 10 Downing Street this week.
In the middle of my thought, you want to tell me about Indy?
Goa. No, because I thought you'd finished.
No, I'm not done
You're
yet.
saying about young people.
Well, congratulate
being
Indy.
involved.
No, I'm just saying about, and I was just talking about Advocate Shashank Narvekar. It's not because he's not paying me a penny. He's not doing this for any other reason than the fact is.
At $18,000, I can't.
You got no. The fact is, you got here on time. That's something I really appreciate. You had an accident, you still got here on time. The fact is that we talk about, we whine and we bitch, and we throw the toys out of the pram because we're getting frustrated because we love this place. It's done for no other malicious, stirring the pot reason. We want to talk about these things. There is nothing that you can't talk about on this show that we're embarrassed or I'll speak about everything. If you have anything you'd like to say, you have any comments, follow-up questions, give us a call, leave us a message, go onto our social media. No, I don't want to see them on the screen. You know where you get your social media from, the Merv Britto Show. Tell people about us and what we're doing. If you like what we're doing, give us a like, share, subscribe. Advocate Narvekar, I do appreciate your time, genuinely. I hope this won't be the last. I've got so many questions more that I'd love to ask you.
Yep.
I love your candidness. I love your obviously you're a smart guy to have made it to be an advocate.
I don't think I was that great in law college. I did much better post that.
Doesn't make a difference. You're in a very respected and a career that a lot of people strive to be. Doctors, lawyers, they perform such important roles. My only prayer, other than the fact that you come back on the show, my only prayer is that people like you, young, dynamic speakers, people with brains, common sense, they use my acronym. I forgot what my acronym is. My acronym is T.H.E.R.I.A.C, the potion used against poison. It's like a poison it's like a creeper. It's got us it's choking us. And if you have these simple words, when I say the word T.H.E.R.I.A.C, I think of transparency, I think of happiness, I think of enforcement, I think of responsibility, implementation, accountability, common sense. Goa's been poisoned with all of the baggage for many, many years. And if we had more young, dynamic, knowledgeable, smart people, common sense, social media, go online. And I've become a fan, by the way. I'm telling you, I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
All jokes, listen, this is the kind of change we need to see. Don't ask what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Get off your ass, get off the couch, get involved in a little way, whatever you can do. I love the fact that you mentioned about online, these portals and forums online. Get involved, guys. Everybody's on the phone playing video games. Get on your phone, log complaints, check out, learn details about the government, how the process is supposed to work. Don't be intimidated. Don't be afraid of what's out there, the unknown. But more people like you, and I would vote for you in a heartbeat. Listen, I want to see huge things from somebody like you, Advocate Narvekar. This is the kind of change we want to see here in Goa.
Yeah, same. I have high expectations with the younger generation. I don't blame them for, having sort of withdrawn from wanting to be involved in this, but we have to look forward. So I want people to be more involved. Call me if you have a problem. Call me. It's fine.
That's cool, man. That's really.
You can reach out to me on my Instagram page, on Facebook. I'm available.
We've shown enough of it on the screens, guys. And I'm not promoting Congress. I'm not promoting Advocate Narvekar, his political aspirations. None of that. I am talking to a young, dynamic person who has the best of intentions, great ideas, simple solution, common sense to fix problems that have been troubling us and choking us for many, many years. And we keep doing the same thing. And the height, what is it? What is
The
the rule?
height of insanity is to do the same thing and expect a different outcome.
Say that again. Say it louder, Joanne. Get close to your mic, Yusuf. I mean, Joanne. I just called you Yusuf Mataji on purpose.
How dare you.
Say that loudly and say that again.
So the height of insanity is to keep doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome.
There's got to be a change.
Yeah.
These countries, the little countries, Nepal, Sri Lanka, all these countries around the world are having big uprisings and they want to change. I don't want to see any of that here. And
It is happening. It happened in Rajasthan. It happened recently in Goa. With smaller sections, you have to understand a country is large. These countries which you mentioned now, they are very small countries. So mobilization of crowds to get such movements is easy. We have barriers.
Your government starting to jam. Your government started to jam. What is it called?
Peaceful protests.
Peaceful protests, and that's a scary thing, right?
Yeah.
So if you can stand up. Sorry, I interrupted you, but you have these pockets of people, Unity Mall people, right?
Yeah.
These people want to stand up.
It's happening. It's just that the examples you mentioned are countries which are smaller, much smaller in terms of size, in terms of barriers of language, of states, all these things. So the mobilization is easier there. Mobilization for a huge country like us is not that easy for any movement, because for a movement to happen to kind of border on becoming sort of revolutionary, you have to have the same sentiment across the border.
Of course.
Correct?
Of
So
course.
when you have these barriers across everywhere, state, language, religion, XYZ, you may not identify with the problem that someone else is having in another area.
Yeah.
Unless it hits you at your level of whatever your problem is. So it will happen, but it is not going to be as fast as it happened in the smaller countries.
How? But you make a very valid point. How is it being done all around the world? All these, you mentioned size, all these things. I understand that. The last thing I'm just going to say is that don't reinvent the wheel. Keep them down, keep them dumb has worked for a long time. It's not necessarily education. It's not necessarily poverty levels, religion, race, and all that kind of stuff. That's a huge factor in the way things happen here. But there's solutions. If you genuinely want to serve your country and fulfill your post, the reason you've been hired to fulfill and do a job, it's not for the money. If you really care, you can fix these problems.
Yeah.
Can you make me one promise? You will come back on the show.
Anytime you want.
I really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Merv Britto Show. My name is Merv Britto. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation, and I apologize because it's been a very long show, but I've got loads more questions, and I'm sure you do. I've seen the messages and the calls, but we're going to do this again, and it's not... I can't stress this enough. No party affiliation, no political affiliation. I just like talking to people that have the best of intentions for this place that we love and care about so much. And there's no other way that I can do anything else but then highlight and voice their opinion. Advocate Narvekar, it has been an absolute pleasure. And you've already promised me once that you'll be back on the show. We will have you on the show another time.
Sure.
I hope your political aspirations come true, and you
My public service aspirations.
Yeah, but
Right.
but that's your proper public servant, right? You're doing it to serve the public, to serve the people that need the help.
You mentioned the irritation you have looking at the things around you. It's the exact same irritation and annoyance I have every day when I get out. That's the only reason why. But I'm taking this path and you're taking that. So we're doing the same thing. Everyone's doing a service to the country.
Yeah, but you stay cool, mate. You really stay cool. I get agitated. My wife's talking about my hands and all. Yusuf is going to yell at me. Why are you moving your hands? Look at the camera. You know what?
It's also something that I've learned because of my profession, right?
To be, yeah, you got to be.
Yeah,
See, that's why I'll never make a politician, because I'll call a crook a crook.
I meant my legal profession. So
You can't do that in front of a judge.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining us. We will definitely do this one more time with Advocate Shashank Narvekar, who's
Call
been
me
an
Shashank Mov, it's just easier.
I know, Baba, but these people we're going to be promoting this. They've seen a lot of you on a lot of your social media pages, which I love. If you want to win an election, get the young people involved. Go on to social media, get people to get involved. It's not hurting your opinion. It's not hurting your ability to win something if you make more people aware and educate them about what is happening. And that's exactly what people like this need to be doing, getting the young generation, the younger generation, stop complaining, stop whining about it. Until next week, this is Merv Britto. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next week. Merv Britto, out.